to the fact that she is gearing to run again. I'm not going to repeat myself too much because I kind of said it last time and I don't want it to spend too long, but I feel that she's trying to clear the path and kind of test the waters to see how the people are going to react to what she has to say. I remember a few months ago, she kind of went viral for saying, like, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. So that's kind of what the Democrats I'm feeling like are doing. They're kind of just like being all like, hey man, we told you so, we told you so. So I'm seeing a lot of people, and these people are a lot of people are Democrat shills. They're like tied in with the DNC. And when we say they're Democrat shills, we don't just mean Democrat supporters. I want y'all to understand who we are referring to. I mean people who get paid. Y'all might be quote unquote Democrat supporters, but y'all are not DNC shields like that. I'm talking about the shields who get paid. I'm talking about people who are on the payroll. I'm talking about people who get flown out to events. I'm talking about people who they send money to their bank account. I'm talking about people who they boost their social media profiles. Those would be the Conscious Lees and the Deontay Kyles and all of them. I'm talking about them. The people who have access to the Breakfast Club and all of this stuff and the Shade Room and all of that. I'm talking about them. Those are the people who be behind the scenes because they're on the payroll. Y'all too, or not too, the 92%, y'all are just fools. And I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but y'all are the ones who think y'all on the team. Y'all not really on the team. Y'all are the pawns on the chessboard. And I'm saying this respectfully because I want the problem to be solved. That's kind of like this what it is. Or at least I'm not gonna say you guys are fools because I understand that people go through phases. Let me rephrase that. They feel like you guys are fools. They feel like you guys are fools. Let me say that. They portray you guys, to them you guys are foolish. Okay? And they're playing you. You might not know, but they are playing you. All right? So I want to say that. I want to say that. Zizi, do you want to say anything, or we want to start the decorum?
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna say too much because yeah, I will be just repeating myself from yesterday. But yeah, we're not rocking with Kamala. We already know she lost by herself. It took for Joe Biden to pull her on and needed for her to even get to the position she got to of being VP. So that was really handed to her, as was her positions before, which we know Judge Joe Brown already exposed her for sleeping her way to the top. But that's another subject. So yeah, no, we're not rocking with the Democrats. We rocking with tangibles. We rocking with where the resources are. With who's doing something for specifically foundational Black Americans. And Kamala, I can't do nothing just for Black people. It's not an option. So yeah, but let's get to the discourse. I'm ready.
Yes, yes. And I also want to add too. She was handed the she what didn't she skip the primary when Joe Biden dropped out? They
Yep.
skipped the what forgot they were supposed to be like a primary, and she completely skipped that. She just
Slid right
skipped
on.
right over that.
Slid
You
right
know.
on in there.
So yep. All right, but BX, can you set the decorum of the room, and we're gonna get stuff started.
Sure. So when you come on the panel,
Hey,
immediately
don't
go on.
spam in the chat room because we stop doing that. Don't do that. Okay. See, now we
Yeah,
gotta
and
mute
these
you.
words here that they're using, those are, oh, somebody muted shit. Okay.
What's
Oh,
wrong? What's
sorry.
wrong?
Then I go and I cuss, right? Okay, so I see somebody muted them, and then I went to mute them, but I unmuted them. So the one who was using the big T, the big H word, friendly TikTok words,
Uh-huh.
got a little doggy profile, but I muted them back. Okay.
Okay.
So please, let's be honest. I don't want to have a tug of war with you guys. I know Afro don't either. So let's just go ahead and have a very good discussion. And Kamala ain't black, by the way. I land.
Okay. Now there's people that are saying stuff I don't like. I don't know if TikTok always used to do this, but um TikTok, I'm trying to invite certain people up, and TikTok be moving the stuff around, and I invite the wrong person up. But I invite people up
The
when I
room
see
might be
you.
going fast.
When I see you, I'm double tasking, but thanks for the invite. Okay, when I see you disagree, I invite you up so we can really elaborate on why you disagree, your disagreement, you know, and then I'll let you come up so this doesn't be an echo chamber. All right. So if you guys disagree, come up and respectfully explain why you disagree. Now I want to get to, now we're going to skip to, because Big Mel, you had a disagreement in the chat room, and I want to have a conversation about that.
Well, I had a disagreement.
Yeah,
I'm,
you said something in the chat room like we need Kamala in office or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So before we get started, your ethnic group, please.
Black American.
Okay. All right. Both your parents, right?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Why do you feel like we need her in office?
man. I just feel like that we do. Like, I feel like things would have been a lot better, especially like things would have been a lot for me. Things would have been a lot cheaper, and then like first time home buyers. You know, I just got married, so like first time home buyers and stuff like that. So you know,
Okay. You're done? I don't want to cut you off.
yeah, I'm done.
So you want her in office because you're a first time home buyer?
Nah, that we would be able to like buy homes.
I mean, we can still buy homes now though.
Yeah, yeah. The house market is trash though.
And I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you. However, the housing market has been trashed for a very long time, and is a lot of the time the house market has been going down has been under the Democrats' control and watch and supervision. You know, and this isn't to release any blame or lessen any blame from the Republican side, but we're not going to make it seem as if the Democrats are good for the housing market. The Democrats are terrible when it comes to housing and really private ownership in general, though. And a lot of the first time home buyer, the assistance when it comes to mortgage, that's good until you actually start looking into the fine print of that. Because the thing is that they're saying that you got to go through a whole bunch of red tape to qualify for that. So that means you can't have nobody in your like family own that. A lot of that stuff, really, when you look at the fine print, most of the people who would qualify for that would be immigrants, first generation immigrants.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All
It
right then.
sounded kind of sobering to you. Was that a surprise that it was for like immigrants, really? Big
Um.
mouth.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does that change your mind any? Because that seems to be what you were basing your decision
Yeah.
on.
A little bit, man. A little bit. But I'm gonna just listen, man, so I could continue to be educated on
Are you
this
from the
a little
South?
bit more. Uh,
Are you from?
I live in the South, but I'm originally from St. Louis.
So they do have programs that if you would like to relocate to certain places in the South, they'll give you a certain amount on a down payment. Do your due
Okay.
diligence. You might find another way than putting Kamala, who touched your ancestors' Freedmen Bank, to include the United Nations, okay, the Asians, the Latinos, the this one, the that one, when she shouldn't have. You have other options than putting Kamala back in office, is all I'm saying to you. Okay, brother?
Okay, yeah. I need to.
All right. Good
I'm
luck on
doing
the
my
marriage.
education. I
All
said
right.
I'm doing my education on politics, man. I'm 25 years old, so I'm trying to get it together for real with when it comes to politics, man. We can't be out here, lost and nothing like that, And I'm starting my life, just got married, to a
Well,
black woman, beautiful black
congratulations.
woman. Yes, sir. Thank you. So I'm just gonna continue to learn. Thank
All
y'all.
right. Well, much respect to that. Much respect. You see how civil we can be? Yeah, much respect. All right. Now let's get to you also had a disagreement or something in the chat room. I want to get to Kane or Kaya. Kaya nailed those.
It's K.
K,
K.
K. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I know like it confuses people because it's all together, but you know.
Okay.
Um, I'm Black American. Both parents are black. I'm 25, even though I don't sound like it. I don't know why my voice is like really high. Every time I get on a panel, they have questions, but if you go to my profile, I'm an adult. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Now you disagreed with something that was said in the chat because I think you were in our last live, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I just joined this one. It came up and I seen like the title, and so I just joined and I've been
Okay.
just listening
You
and
so
in the
you
comments.
didn't you weren't in the last live we had?
No.
Okay. Okay. Must have been somebody else. So, but you agreed with Mike when you said that, because Mike had said that FBA is turning into Black MAGA, and you said that you agreed with that.
I do agree because I feel like this, I wouldn't say it applies to like all FBA. I know that for some, I guess you can say what they really want is just for Black Americans to be, I guess, recognized for our unique culture, the contributions we make, the contributions we've made, so that, you know, people who come here, they're able to benefit off of the things that Black Americans have done through civil rights, through protesting, through breaking barriers. And so I completely understand that, because I feel like a lot of times, you know, we all get lumped together, Black, Caribbean, Afro, Latino, we all get lumped together because nobody really cares to know the difference. And I feel like at times, you know, other members of the diaspora don't give us the respect that we deserve at times. They always say that we have no culture, we're lazy, we're this, we're that. When looking back at history will tell you that we're none of those things. We're trailblazers. We fought for our rights and we got a good portion of them. We still fight for our rights to this day and we help a lot of people. But I do feel like some of the talking points of FBA do border on Blaga when they say, you know, certain things about, I don't know if I can say this on here, like immigration. I don't know if there's a specific word I should be using, because I know one of the moderators did say there's certain like TikTok language, but certain topics that FBA talk about, like it kind of borders on Blaga, the way that they say it. When it's like, I know there's a different way that they want to say it, but the way that they're like articulating themselves, it comes off as like kind of Blaga.
Okay, well, I want to get some things straight before we go into those things, because I don't want that to be a thing where that's not addressed. I want to address that, but let me first address this. Like, the FBA talking point. There is no FBA talking points. Okay. FBA is a lineage. There are people who are FBA and who might think a certain way, and that might be their individual talking points, but FBA is not like a organization, a group, anything like that. Like, you wouldn't say, yeah, there are a lot of African American talking points. Nobody says that. Nobody says, I just disagree with the African American talking points. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say, yeah, I disagree with the Black American talking points. You wouldn't say that. So when you say, I disagree with the FBA talking points, that's framing FBA as if FBA is not the term for a lineage. It's like a group or an organization with memberships and an affiliation and all of that stuff. Now, so I just want to get that clear. All right. And then you say certain talking points about immigration. How do you feel about immigration in the
I
state
would
we're in
say,
today?
honestly, I guess maybe I'm that overly woke person, but I don't really think that they're the source of our issues. I think the issue is a lot of these like tech bros and all of that infiltrating, you know, our government and basically hoarding all the wealth, cutting off services. I think they're the real issue. I think that, you know, at times people tend to place the blame on them, but I don't really think that they're the biggest issue that we're facing right now.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are not focusing on, like I said, the people that make way more money than us. Who said I'm an immigrant myself? I was
Well,
born in New
just
Jersey.
the chat's gonna chat. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to have a conversation as young adults here. Oh, what state do you? If you, I'm not trying to get in your business, but what state do you live in? If you don't
I live
mind.
in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. Now, okay, well, I was asking because there are certain states that got an influx. In the last few years or so, we've had millions of immigrants who've come into the country illegally, and they come in, and what happens is that the government is prioritizing them over us, all right, and siphoning resources that belong to us. Now, in Chicago, this is happening so much so that we've had to organize and go to city council and city hall about that, because there were community centers that they said they wanted to stop being community centers and turn them into shelters. And there needed to be protests outside the community centers because folks didn't want them to be turned into shelters. So we're seeing the in the South Side as well too, the few resources that we do have be siphoned off and say, well, y'all don't really need that community shelter because these immigrants who are just coming over here 2 weeks ago, they need a shelter. So we're going to turn y'all community center into a shelter. We're going to turn this school into a shelter. We're going to, in Chicago, this was happening left and right because they had already filled up the hotels and they had already filled up the shelters. So then they had to transform other buildings into shelters for them because they had so many of them, right? And then it cost so much money that certain things had to be certain other things had to be taken money out of. All right, which is why Chicago in particular is in over $1 billion in debt. There had to be a hiring freeze, a freeze on certain a lot of other amenities and things like that, where because of that, uh Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, said that we're going to have to go up on pretty much all of the taxes in order to kind of make up for the debt that we're in because we've been paying for the immigrants. I know for a fact that that's happened because I went to DC at the Capitol where Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, the mayor of Boston, I think her name is, I don't remember her name, and the mayor of Denver, Colorado, were all there testifying in front of Congress about the money that they spent on immigrants, illegal immigrants, mind you. So when we say, so to your point, are they the absolute final boss of all of our problems? I don't think that they're the absolute final boss, but they are. Their presence here is an issue. And it's an issue because illegal immigration in every economy, in every country, it is an issue for national security, and it also is an issue for the economy when you have illegal immigration. So when people are pushing back against illegal immigration, that's not them saying that y'all are biggest problem. But the thing is that people keep trying to get us to overlook them being an issue. You know what I'm saying?
So I can agree with what you're saying when you put it like that, but unfortunately there are people who do feel like they are our ultimate issue. When I also think that I think honestly another thing that we need to consider when we say they're the issue is also the government that gives them these things, because at the end of the day they can come here and they can say they need this, they need that, but it's also up to the government to say, okay, well, we still have, people in our inner cities, in our urban cities, in our suburbs that need these resources more than they need it. So we need to figure out how we're going to divide these resources so that we're caring for the people that are already here that need it and also the ones that are coming in. So I feel like that's another reason why I'm not so, I guess anti-immigrant, because I do feel like it also is the government's responsibility to take care of us in the same way that they take care of people who come here.
Well, yeah, and this is why we're holding the government responsible for it, though. We're also holding the government responsible. But I want to add the fact that we as a country are not obligated to take care of people who've crossed the border illegally. That's what we've been doing for the last few years. Is we've been taking care of people who haven't even went through the proper vetting process to enter into the country. These people have come into the country through coyotes and other things. They're not even here legally. And we have, even for what you said, that the government needs to divide. Why should our resources are finite. Okay, are the jobs, the resources, all of these things are finite. They have a limit to it. Why should we have our resources divided or cut off in any way for someone who's not in the country legally? Because, and I'm saying it, I want you to think about it, because you couldn't go to Mexico illegally and say, well, I need the government to split up the resources between me and the Mexican citizens. They would say, no, you shouldn't get anything, nothing at all. There's nowhere in the world where you can go illegally and then the actual locals say the government needs to take care of you. You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
agree. But I also want to touch on your point that our resources are finite. I don't think that they're finite necessarily. I think, again, it goes back to what's happening, because with this, with what's going on in the current administration, they're the ones that are gutting the jobs. If they didn't gut the jobs, then they would be there for people to have. You know what I'm saying? Like Amazon, right? Well, I don't know if I could say that on live. I'm sorry, I don't know what I can and can't say. I don't want, anything to get like, but
Okay.
they're cutting jobs right now to save themselves 12 billion. So that's why I feel like the resources aren't necessarily finite. I just feel like they're cutting the resources in order to save money for the people that I've said that make more money than unfortunately some of us will see in our lifetimes because they're hoarding that wealth. They're the ones that are cutting the resources as well as the government. 300,000 Black American women have lost their jobs, as was stated in the comments. And that wasn't really, the fault of the immigrants. That was the fault of our government feeling like we shouldn't be in those places. So I feel like it's not
Mhm.
necessarily that I think that they deserve to be taken care of when they come here because, I do feel like if you're going to come somewhere, you should work and contribute, which some of them do. I can't speak to all of them. I don't know all the immigrants that come here, but I feel like a lot of the reason why we feel our resources are strained is because they don't want to give us enough resources. We have plenty
Mhm.
of money to give everybody, government assistance, jobs, things like that, but we're sending it off to other places when in reality we need to be upset with our government who says, we can't give people SNAP this month, but we can
I
give
I
money to other nations.
I get you. I get you. And I'm not trying to, but the thing is that we're almost having two conversations because when we have a conversation about immigration, we kind of venture off to, well, the government is mess. And I agree with that. I'm not even going to disagree with that. But let's be honest. When I say finite, I'm talking about jobs and other things like that. We got people who are homeless. We have people who are unemployed, and even the people who are employed, we got to think about it. A lot of these people who are employed currently are only employed part time. They're not employed full time with benefits and all of these things. We have citizens that need assistance. All right. And the government is saying, okay, instead of saying we need to pause everything and focus on getting the country together, they're adding more people and saying that the more people who just got here, they need to be prioritized before the citizens. And even if you want to say they need to be prioritized equal to the citizens, that shouldn't be the case either, because there needs to be a priority that we have. Every single country prioritizes their citizens before immigration. And when we talk about the corruption of the government, we can talk, that's almost a different conversation, because there still does need to be checks and balances on immigration. There still are laws of immigration. Let's be honest. We went through a crisis with immigration under the previous administration, not the Trump administration. It was under the Biden administration where the cities were going into billions of dollars worth of debt, where there were layoffs. Then now people don't talk about this. Now people talk about the layoffs under the Trump administration, but there were layoffs under the Biden administration because cities like Chicago and cities like New York needed to start pulling jobs and pulling resources because they needed to give those to the immigrants. And I know that because I went to Congress about that. I was literally physically there. So they had to pull a lot of resources. That means there was a lot of government jobs, state government jobs, city government jobs that they had to pull. That means they had to pull out of schools. That means a lot of teachers had to get laid off. A lot of teachers couldn't get promotions. I'm saying things because I was there and I saw the budgets. I saw that they had to pull certain things to take care of immigrants. All right. Because you literally just can't have a flood of people come into the country and say, well, we're going to take care of everybody. That's just not the way a functioning economy works. And I feel like a lot of people who you might say might be xenophobic when they're passionately saying that this shouldn't be allowed, on top of, and this is probably the biggest point, on top of the fact that a lot of these people are coming from countries that have a disdain and hatred for black people. That's really the cherry on top of that. It's not like these people are coming over here becoming allies. These people are coming over here and they have hatred and vitriol for black people. All right. Because they don't even like black people back in their own home countries. They coming over here with saying terms like La Raza or something to that degree. like purify the race. I don't exactly remember the whole thing, but they're coming here from that perspective. A lot of them are, and there are criminals that come over here. That's true. There were Venezuelan there were Venezuela, it was Trinidad Aragua members in Chicago, all through Chicago. So there does need to be a process when it comes to certain things like that.
Yeah, I was about to literally just add that on, that a major problem with the flood of immigrants is that they are men, military aged men. When you think about refugees or people that may be fleeing from their country, you think of women, children, elderly, disabled, the vulnerable of the community. But when you have military aged men coming over here, like you just mentioned, some of these men from the gangs, that creates a level of violence and threat specifically for foundational Black Americans, but all American citizens, but especially foundational Black Americans, because again, like you said, they come with the anti-Black American vitriol
Yeah.
as well.
So that's why a lot of people feel a certain type of way about immigration. And let's tell the ultimate truth. Immigration in the community, even if they weren't that way, even if they only came here to work or whatever the case is, let's say that, it's not a net positive for foundational Black Americans. It's not. Immigration is used as a net negative. It is. And that's just the reality of it. And here's the thing. I do blame the government. I'm not, I get why they would do it. I understand it. I can understand it. I blame the government for it. That's why you see me going off on Brandon Johnson. That's why you see me addressing and holding Biden accountable, Harris accountable, all of them accountable. I hold them all accountable. I blame the government for allowing that to happen. Okay, I do. But the thing is that even though I blame the government for it, I do understand that, okay, well, we need to stop that. All right. We do need to stop. We do have an immigration problem. We've had an immigration problem for a very long time. It wasn't just under Biden. We've had an immigration problem really for the last, if you're going to be honest, the last few decades. We've had an anchor baby issue. We've had an immigration problem. Obama has admitted this. Previous presidents have admitted this. They've all admitted this. Okay. We can actually go back even further than that. We can go back really since the civil rights movement if we're gonna be for real with it. But we've had an immigration problem for a long time. And now it's at this apex where now millions of people are coming over here. Now it's all like, okay, everybody slam on the brakes. We got to hit this and we got to go in reverse, because at this point, the country is in a crisis. It's in a crisis.
So I just wanted to ask like a question really quickly, and I wanted to like let all the panelists finish.
Yeah,
So
then we
say,
got to give to everybody. But okay.
so say in a perfect world, you know, we reach the controlled immigration. None of them are coming in. There's more stuff available to like, you know, everybody. Do you think that they would still give it to us though? We have an administration currently that's full of, I don't know how to say that term, but y'all know what I'm hinting at. I don't want to say that term because it's not, I can't say it on live. I definitely can't say that one.
Okay.
But do you think that they would give us resources even if there were none of those immigrants here?
Are you talking about white tea supremacists?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I think that they would? They clearly don't want to. No, they're not going to give up. No, but no, not going to volunteer it. Here's the thing. I don't think that they're not giving us resources because they have immigrants. Okay. I'm saying that the immigrants are coming over here and they're siphoning off of the resources that are already currently here. It's not like, oh, we were going to get a check until an immigrant came here. I'm saying that the check that we do have, they're pulling out of that to give to the immigrants.
I guess I would say, like, if they weren't going to give it to us, then, like I said, I think it's more so an issue of we really need to be stern with our government. Like, yes, they are
Mm-hmm.
giving them our resources, but if they weren't here, we still wouldn't get those resources because the issues, we have people in politics who don't really like us, unfortunately, and
But
they don't care
and
about
then
us.
I want to question. I want to ask you a question though. You're saying we should be stern with our government and we should do all of this, but the thing is that how can we do that if when people call out immigration, they get gaslit and they get shamed and bashed and called Black MAGA? And there's this thing in the community where if a policy that you agree with is a little bit right of center, you get shamed and you get bashed for it, even if it's harmful for the community. If it's too right of center, if it's not Democrat or if it's not quote unquote progressive, you get bashed for it. When are we going to hold them accountable if every time somebody says, hey, this is a problem, you get bashed for it? People talk about holding them accountable. You can't hold a party accountable if you're saying immigration isn't an issue. You have to admit that it's an issue first. In order, what are we holding them accountable for if we're going to say it's not an issue? You know what I'm saying?
I guess I would say like
I mean, you don't have to respond. You can just think about it. We're having a conversation. I'm not trying to debate you. I'm not trying to beat you up or anything like that.
no, I do appreciate the respect on the panel. I will say everybody's been very respectful so far. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it. I know sometimes views can like when people have different views, it can go a different way. So I appreciate that. I would probably say I just don't really have like any rebuttals to that, I guess. I would
Mm-hmm.
just say that like me personally, I don't feel like the immigrants are like I don't really think they're what's standing in the way of us getting resources. I think that there's a lot of other people that are in the way of our resources. And I don't think really like punching down on them, not to say that, you're punching down on them or anybody here is, but there are people that punch down on immigrants because we have at least the upper hand of citizenship. And I feel like there's just other factors at play as to why like FBAs, Black Americans can't get the resources we need. And I don't think it's fully them. We have, other ethnic groups that are also citizens that want things taken away from us. Um,
Okay, and I agree, and we should factor all of those things, but that factor is the only factor that gets gaslit, and that factor is the only factor that people call people sellouts for. When we talk about immigration, it gets gaslit, we get shamed, bashed, we get called sellouts, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand people do have a right to be frustrated. People do have a right to this because let's be honest, these immigrants are not, we're going to have to tell the truth about it. These immigrants are not innocent. It's not like they're coming over here from natural disasters or anything like that. These people are coming over here literally for economic opportunity. And they're coming over here literally with the intent on walking over other people to get what they got to get. They'll openly say that too. They'll openly admit that. They'll come over here, they'll do scams, crime, and I'm not generalizing, quote unquote, but let's be honest. These people, a lot of them, like Zizi said, are men over 18, over 25 years old. Most of them between the ages of 25 and 50. Most of them. So people do have a right to say, hey, these people shouldn't be in my neighborhood, shouldn't be in the community, okay? Because it wouldn't be tolerated the other way around. Mexicans wouldn't even be having this conversation if it was you or I in their country. There would not be a back and forth where Mexicans are debating if we should be able to stay in the country illegally. They wouldn't even be doing that. No, nobody would be doing that. But this doesn't need to. I feel like we can put a pin in that, and then we can get to some other speakers though.
yeah, I think I'll actually let some other speakers go because I feel like I've been like talking a lot on the panel. I
Mm-hmm.
will say thank you for having me up, but
All
I'll
right.
yield my turn so that others can make her point because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
All
But thank
right.
you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
That was nice. That was a nice interaction. I have a question based off of the comments, Afro.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said that Republicans are blocking immigration reform. I have my question is this: that we see what the Democrats are doing, protesting for immigration, all this other stuff. And then, like, I've attended AOC's town halls, right? She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. All she talks about is immigrants. She doesn't talk about the Black American community, especially here in New York. 2019, she didn't even know who was considered Black when asked about reparations.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that Trump is doing, I would say, is a form of immigration reform. What do you think about that? Are they really after Immigration reform, or are they just fighting to keep it the way that it is, unchecked, without checks and balances, so to speak?
I don't think they're after immigration reform. They weren't even talking about anything about immigration reform. Remember, they were saying that the immigration crisis wasn't a crisis all the way up until it was only up until right before, literally right before Biden and Trump had that debate, that they put out any legislation that even slowed down immigration. Okay, that they didn't even attempt to slow it down until right before the debate, because they knew it was an issue that the citizens had. All right, so they really don't care about it. They the Democratic Party has made it abundantly clear their stance on immigration. They're not after immigration reform. Okay, because there's already, like I'm saying, there's already too many problems and that we need to fix now. All right, there's too many problems that we need to fix now. We do too much with other countries. As America, we do way too much with other countries. There needs to be a time when we need to home in on fixing the issues in America, getting the citizens in America employed, fixing the employment issue in America, fixing the how homelessness in America, fixing the home ownership crisis in America. There are issues and crises in America right now. Okay, when now they want to talk about healthcare, which is a problem, but let's be honest. Do you think, I want you all to think about this. Do you think with the healthcare issue, with as expensive as healthcare is today, you think allowing 10 million people to come in, do you think that that's going to make the healthcare more expensive or less expensive? More obtainable or less obtainable? Easier to get or harder to get? Let's be honest. We got too much stuff to do now to allow 10 million plus more people up in the country and say, well, they need to be equally, they need to have just as much rights as a citizen because they got here a couple weeks ago. Hold on. Who else in the world does that?
Now, it's funny you said that too about healthcare. I can't remember what state it is. Maybe you know what I'm talking about, but I remember covering that, I think, sometime last year, where it was a hospital and literally Black Americans couldn't even get into the ER because it was flooded with illegals. Like, literally, they didn't
California.
even have
It
enough
was out here
room.
in California.
Wasn't it California? Okay, because I remember talking about that. So yeah,
Yep.
that's for sure an issue.
It's bad. It's out here.
Mm,
Let me say this. While the administration, the Republicans, may not give us anything, even if the immigrants was gone, when did the Republicans ever promise us anything? Where the party who has promised us the most and dropped the ball on us is who we're holding accountable. Not only that, I'm from one of the most diverse places in America, right? New York. But I'm also of an age where I know that FBA businesses were prominent. So I've seen the height, the beauty of having more FBA businesses than immigrant businesses. And I understand due to like maybe unfair rent hikes, bank discrimination, and all of that, why some of our businesses have declined. We have actually went in and supported these people, giving them billions in their wealth, only for them to turn around and be very disrespectful. That's where I draw the line. Not only that, my point is we can get the immigrants out, and who's going to service our communities but us? I'm not calling a bodega owner a mom or pop. He ain't my mommy or my poppy, okay? I don't
mm-hmm,
have those in my house. I have my moms and my pops. And so I think it'll be more fairness for us. That trickle down effect everybody is talking about really don't hit certain demographics, even though we do have more in upper and middle class than we do in poverty. Black Americans don't leave theirs behind. Let's
mm-hmm,
start there. So I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, Afro. But I think that we should be allowed to call out the party that we've been supporting for 60 years. And one
mm-hmm,
of their biggest flaws, okay, is immigration. And immigration, even 1% of melanated immigrants can change the scheme of things for foundational Black Americans. Look at Brooklyn, Flatbush, to be exact,
mm-hmm,
okay? And we could go to the Latinos. I never lived on a block without a Latino, but I still understand that proximity does not mean same. However, the disrespect from that community, don't forget the violence that
mm-hmm,
they can enact on Black Americans. So I'm tired of overextending, and we still champion them. I'm just tired of a lot
mm-hmm.
of the disrespect, and I don't care if they go or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it'll balance the skills for us and fairness. We may not even fight that hard for reparations, right? Well, it's old, so we might always do that. But the fairness of it all, where we
Yeah.
won't be locked out of things like the greenery business when we know it was our people targeted the most. There'll be a lot more fairness for foundational Black Americans if we had people who cared, right? But
Yeah.
since we don't, and the immigrants are really disrespectful, they have homelands they could go and repair. Do that. Why are there Jamaicans in my chat? But I could see, well, not my chat, sorry, Afro's chat. But I could see, scroll the hallways and see Jamaicans over there on the island trying to be brave. Why aren't y'all trying to get some resources together for them instead of worrying about what Black Americans got going on?
No. We I want
Say
to, because I
Parada is
could really keep
speaking,
going
y'all.
on. I really could, but I want to be respectful to all of you guys as the panel, and your patience. So thank you guys for that. We're gonna get to the speakers. I appreciate y'all. I know we've had a really good dialogue thus far, and I want to say that this shows that we can have a respectful, mature dialogue among adults who have differences of opinion without cursing each other out. You see me, the brother before, the lady, we didn't curse each other out. We didn't insult each other. There was no disses or no shade thrown or anything. All right. You see how we can do now. And this is the way we progress as a community. Okay. So let's get to Kurt. Kurt, you got it.
Right on, brother Afro. I appreciate you. Appreciate the space. You know, blessings to everybody, especially my foundationals. And yeah, we are not rocking with Kamala Harris for 2028. And it's sad to see how much miseducation our people still have in this time with the DNC talking points. It is a shame, and we need to get back to our old school ways and just educate the ones who are lost. You know, it is sad to see this happening, but it is something that needs to be done. When this delineation process happens, we need to stay away from people who don't want to be found and who don't want to see the light, even if they are from the lineage, because everybody ain't gonna be able to go to the top with us. You know, and we are sitting here fighting for our iota in this situation, which is important. Thank you to the God, Dr. Claude Anderson, for, you know, putting that in the spotlight. And I thank you as well, Brother Afro, for doing God's work and, you know, putting the message out there even further for us to hear it in this generation. You know, because a lot of us are lost right now and not hearing Dr. Claude Anderson's truth, which you are preaching to the masses in a phenomenal way. And I appreciate you, my brother. With
Thank you,
that
brother.
being said, and I land.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think the next person, if I'm not mistaken, was Zero.
Hey, how you doing, brother Afro?
I'm good. How
Hey,
you doing, brother?
I'm good. Hey, much love to everybody on the panel. Uh, uh, to keep with the rules, I'm 50 years old, ADOS, FBA, and nah, ain't nobody rocking with Vice President Twerk off. You know what I mean? I'm from California.
Mm,
Uh, I see what's going on out here. I followed her whole political career, and I'm still upset that she got to cosplay as a black person all this time. Before 2019, she never said she was black. Ever.
mm,
Ever. And then she got on video, on camera, and said she wasn't doing anything for black people. Said it out her own mouth with her whole chest and meant it. So why no black agenda, no black vote? Why would I give my vote to somebody who is not going to do anything for me in return? It doesn't make sense to me. Also, um let's just keep it a buck. Those housing programs, those down payment assistance programs that she was talking about, that the brother alluded to earlier, they were actually loans. Um what if you look at the language of what was written, it was basically $20,000 in exchange for 20% of your equity when you refied or sold your house.
mm,
And if it was, and uh, if the equity, if 20% wasn't equal to $20,000, then they took their $20,000 with a little bit of interest because it was greater than the 20%. Basically, the government became the co-owner of your home. You feel
Oh,
and uh, and that's by basically putting a lien on your house. Also, also being in California, my wife actually works for a public health care provider in California, and the free health care to undocumented immigrants is breaking the bank. The state literally can't afford it. Newsom signed that into law, and it is breaking the public health care system. If anybody knows about California, there's a uh, Medicare contractor out here in Southern California called IEHP. They cannot afford Medi-Cal, basically, which is state Medicaid. The California state form of Medicaid cannot afford all the illegal immigrants that signed up for it. I just wanted to say that, and to act like our resources aren't finite. Yes, they are, because there's only so much collected in taxes every year. Everything else gets borrowed, and the either the state or the federal government has to pay interest on that, which is basically how the national debt works. That's why we are in debt, because we spend more than we collect every year, and this issue will not help that.
thank you for that. Yeah, we got to get into the fine print of all that stuff. That stuff sounds okay on paper when you first glance at it, but let's actually look into the details of that. And that stuff wasn't really is not cracked up. And let me just say this before we move on, and thank you for that. Let me say this, right? Let's say we do get the big billionaires and millionaires and the tech giants and all of that to pay their fair share in taxes. And I agree that there's a lot of tax evasion that goes on in that crowd of people, like the 1% and all of them. There's a lot of tax evasion. Let's say they pay their fair share. Let's say they pay more than their fair share in taxes. Okay, so the government has more money to spend on the citizens. Follow me. Where still should the cutoff be? Because let's say we can afford more, does that mean we're obligated to do more for people coming into the country? So if we have more taxes being paid by the billionaires, do we allow 10 more million people to come in? 50 million people, 100 million people, a billion people? Like, what point do we cut people off? What point do we say, okay, that's enough? Where do we say that? Because people are like, no, we have more resources, but okay, let's say we did. Still, do you think that there should ever be a cutoff point? Do you think that there should ever be a limit to where we should stop immigration? Or do we just allow more people to come in and say, well, Elon Musk will pay for them? Like, what are we doing? That's a question. I'm just asking the questions. All right. Now let's get to Ja or Jay.
Absolutely. So the Pan Africans have been visiting our rooms lately. One we completely annihilated today on Brian's panel. However, there's a man who has a fairly decent platform, because I was scrolling and caught an FBA woman up there. I had to tell her to drop, because it's just that room where they're never going to hear what you're really trying to say, right? He's in your chat today. I don't know if he wants to request up, but he knows who he is. Um, I don't know. I don't even know if he's Pan African, but he's very pro immigrant and very pro Democrat.
Okay, what's
Um,
this?
Casso, Casso.
Yeah, very
Okay.
anti-black, by the way, too.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not familiar, but I seen him like once or twice his platform when I told the lady to drop, because they just weren't gonna see what she was trying to say.
All right. Well, if he wants to come
Yeah.
in, Casso, come on.
Okay.
Casso. I think I have seen somebody named Casso in the chat
He's the
too.
type of raccoon that will let other non-black people as his mods and speak on black issues. That's
Um,
what this guy is.
okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna if he comes up. I think I have seen him, but Oh, okay. There he is. I'm gonna have to drop some people. I'm gonna have to. Let's see, Kurt. I'm gonna have to drop you down. I'm gonna have to let.
I was
And
just going to say, go ahead and drop me, brother. Thank you for all your work. God bless you, and hope the ancestors keep watching over you, brother. Drop me down.
appreciate you, brother. Much respect. Thank you very much. All right, let's get to Casso. Casso, You've been saying stuff in the chat room. Now, Castle, what's his background, BX? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. Castle, can you state your lineage real quick? Because I see you got black and brown in your bio. So are you like half
What is your
Latino
lineage?
or you said what?
What is your lineage? What is your lineage?
What's my lineage?
Yeah.
I, I'm the
Let me
host. I'm the
interject. Let me
host. No,
interject for
we're
a
not
minute.
doing that. No, we're not doing that.
So,
You don't
Castle,
tell
I
me,
got
ask me that.
so I ask everybody when I'm not sure when you entered the room, but when the live gets started, that's one of the requirements I say. Age, ethnic group, and TikTok
I'm a
friendly
black
language
American.
only. So it's not just
Okay.
you.
Well, people are saying he's a black
I'm in my
American.
30s. I'm a black
Okay.
American. I was born in
Okay.
Memphis, and my family on both sides is from the Mississippi Delta. So I don't need black
Okay.
folk from the north or out west telling me I'm not black enough. My folk from the Delta.
Okay, no, we just
Nobody
wanted to
said you
know.
weren't black. I
We go
just
all the way
asked where
back to
your
the
lineage was
plantation on
from.
my side of the family.
Okay.
Go
And I've
ahead.
seen you in the chat room long enough. You know we ask people that. All right. So you disagree, right? You disagree with what we're saying in the because I've seen you disagree. So what is your disagreement? I'm
I
be fair.
disagree
I'm
with
gonna be
almost
silent. I'm gonna just
I
let you go.
disagree with almost everything you said. First of all, we're not being hindered uh, by immigrants coming into America. Nothing's ever been given to black people prior to immigrants coming into the country. This country wasn't allocated any sort of funding specifically for black people. Whatever we did acquire in this country, we acquired because we worked hard. This new position that you knew, I'm assuming y'all FBA, the position that FBA takes that migrants are taking something away from black people, that's not true. They're removing migrants from the country right now. Black unemployment rate has spiked up to 8%. Black youth unemployment rate is 25%. White unemployment rate has not changed yet. So if you think them removing brown people from the country is going to open up opportunities for black people, you're confused. There was a situation down in Jackson, Mississippi, where they had undocumented migrants working in a Tyson chicken plant. They end up getting the undocumented migrants out of the plant. Instead of giving black people in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, the job opportunity, they brought in automation, robots. That's what they replaced the undocumented migrants with. I think you guys are focused on the wrong people. You want to start a battle with a new group of people when you're at war with somebody. You've been at war with this particular group of people for 450 years.
And
I'm
I
just
don't
being
think
real,
you
man. I
understand that,
think
Let,
that
BX.
let him
y'all
go.
are
Let him go.
afraid.
Let him go.
I think that you guys are afraid of white men. You
Okay.
talk about the Democrats, but you jump out the Democratic plantation owner lap and you jump right in the Republican man lap. And you're okay with being in the Republican man's lap. Why not declare yourself as being an independent? Why are you
Who says we're
supporting
not
white men
independent?
who have competitive? The majority of y'all. I've spoken
No,
to a lot of folk in this
don't
app,
do
man.
that, brother. You grown and I'm grown. Don't do that. Don't make assumptions and talk about the majority, y'all. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm gonna
Okay.
leave that and say this: the FBA members the FBA identifying people who I have spoken to are Trump supporters. All of
Okay.
them.
Okay. Well, you're speaking to one right now, and I'm not a Trump supporter. And what you said
Okay, that's
about
fine. You
immigration
don't
is
speak for all
incorrect.
of
Now,
them.
hold on. What you said about what state do you live in?
Why? I'm
Because
down south. I've lived in four
I
states in
asked
the
the other
south.
lady, and I asked the brother that because it's important because the states you might live in, you might have a perception of immigration and how it affects a community differently from a state that is flooded with immigrants. Okay,
Right. I've lived
and
in
I'm saying
Texas.
this.
I've
No,
lived
hold
in
on. I'm
Florida.
saying this. I'm saying this to say that, and I'm being respectful as grown men because your perception might be altered because you might not have any negative effects of immigration and in a city like California or a state like California, a city like Chicago, a city like New York, maybe. Okay, so I'm saying this so we can have context. So do you mind telling us what state? I'm just asking the state, not the city. Do you mind telling us that?
From the south, man.
Okay.
Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, and Florida. I
Okay.
lived in all
Here's
four of
here's
those
the
states.
thing. What you said about immigration, and the problem is that you guys are using a straw man argument to say that we're blaming all of the country's problems on immigration, and that's a tactic so we can pretty much not mention immigration as an issue. Period. Because let it be up to you all. You all don't want to mention immigration as a problem at all. Period. And that's the thing. is that anytime immigration is brought up as an issue, as a negative for the community, it's always, well, let's talk about something else. Okay, well, somebody else is the problem. Okay, well, something else is the issue. No, okay, let's take the time to address the issue at hand. You guys want to talk about, and when we talk about immigration, y'all are like, well, what about Jeff Bezos? What about Elon Musk? What about Mark Zuckerberg? Okay, we can talk about them later, all right? But y'all don't address immigration as an issue. There is a reason why every single nation in this world has immigration policies and laws that are enforced, okay? Because immigration, whether illegal or legal, affects an economy of a community, or of a country rather, okay? And it affects the national security of a country, which is why everywhere you go there is immigration laws. If you go on vacation, they know your background, they know how long you're going to be staying there, they know where you're going to be, and if you break any of those laws, you're going to be banned and deported, okay? Because there are rules when it comes to every single country. That's national security, and that affects the economy there. All right. Only in America do people act like that doesn't exist. So let's be adults here. And now I'm going to give you a situation in Chicago. There was a raid that happened. This was around 2018, 19 or 18, where there was a raid of a Little Debbie's factory, a factory that makes the Twinkies and all of the little brownies and stuff like that. Who most of the workers there, really over 60% of the workers, were illegal immigrants. ICE raided the building, and then the building was about to close because 60% of the workforce was deported. The building didn't close because they filled those gaps with Black Americans. Black Americans went to go work at that factory and keep the factory from closing when 60% of the workers got deported. So actually there are positions that they do come into and fill up. There are different factory positions, construction positions, and this stuff happens pretty much every time ICE raids a facility. All right, let's tell the truth about it. And it's not just automation, because that's going to happen regardless. I'm talking about the actual labor that they don't have automation for. All right. So they come in and there's deportations, and then they need people to fill those positions. When we say things are not finite, we also mean positions and opportunities. And we have case after case studies to verify this as a fact. Let's tell the entire truth about this situation. And this isn't to say that we're overlooking or we're acting as if immigration is the biggest problem in the country. But no, immigration, especially with the flood that we just had to endure for the last few years, immigration is a problem. Didn't me and Zizi was just talking about how immigration is, me, Zizi, and Zero was just talking about how immigration is a huge strain on the expensive ass healthcare system that we have in this country. Now they want to talk about more people coming in, more people coming in, more people coming in, and getting just as much access to healthcare as a citizen does, even though citizens can barely afford their healthcare. And you're allowing immigrants to come in and really skip the line when it comes to Medicaid and Medicare and all of these government assistances. Okay, that's why in California they're going into debt. That's why Illinois and Chicago going into debt. Eric Adams admitted, testifying on Congress, okay, when he was on trial on Congress, saying that they went into debt, paying for them and taking care of them. So and he's a Democratic mayor of the biggest Democratic city in the country. So we're not just making stuff up. This is stuff that we actually have receipts for. We actually have people going to City Hall and going to the budget meetings and seeing these things, and having the mayor say, hey, we got to pull from this to give to that. And then you want to sit up there and gaslight and say we're MAGA for bringing up this issue.
I want to respond to you and say this. I didn't call you MAGA. First of all, immigration is a headache. Systemic racism in this country that's being perpetuated by white people is a cancer. So you want to convince me, a black man in America, that I should focus on my headache and not try to fix the cancer that I have? And that's the issue that I have with the message.
That's bad faith, but I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. That's bad faith, though. I'm gonna let you go.
Right, that's not bad faith. That's literally the equivalency of what you're saying. I'm not gonna focus on headache. I'm gonna focus on my cancer, and my cancer in this country is white supremacy. Now, in terms of the Medicaid and Medicare system, you don't have any sort of hard numbers you can show me that points out undocumented migrants putting a strain on the Medicare and Medicaid system. But I
That's a
can tell
lie.
you
That's
this,
a lie. That's a lie.
right? That can I respond to you, or what we gonna do? I
No,
thought you
don't
said
lie,
you
bro.
were.
Okay, go ahead.
I just said silent and let you.
You know what? I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let you go ahead. You get a good couple minutes. I'm not gonna say nothing. Nobody in the pound's gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
Right. When you talk about the Medicare and Medicaid system again, y'all ignore y'all biggest problem and your biggest issue. Your biggest problem is fat white people in conservative states. The five most obese states in this country are Republican-led states full of fat white folks. They are majority white states. Those states place a $200 billion per year strain on the Medicare and Medicaid system. They directly impact your premium. Everyone who's included in the particular package that you get in terms of healthcare, all of those people are accounted for when you get whatever the number is for your premium. You're looking at undocumented migrants, and what Republican propaganda has told you. You don't have any information or any facts to point out an exact number in terms of how much they account towards any sort of Medicaid and Medicare systems. But it's easy for you to attack them because so many of you FBA guys refuse to acknowledge your real issue in this country, and that's white men. Y'all have nothing to say about conservative white men or their ideologies or what they do. You continue to try to attack brown communities and convince black people that brown people are their problem. That's not true. Black women don't want hospitality jobs. That's what the brown women working. Black men are not out here complaining about no damn agricultural jobs. We're not racing to work, get back out in the fields and work. So you say these people in our way, they're stepping on opportunities, they're taking funding away from us. That's absolutely not true. And you guys don't have any facts to point to how they're taking job opportunities or taking investment opportunities away from our community. You guys are rooted in anti-brownness and pure hatred. You refuse to acknowledge your true enemy in this country, which is white men with conservative ideologies. Not only do y'all not acknowledge them, but you stand on the side of them. Any person of color who running for office and you don't deem them to be black enough, you go jump right in the boat with a white Confederate man, and you'll be happy to stand in that boat
Who are
with
you
him. And
talking
that's the issue.
about?
That
No, 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 now you going off the handle. Who are
the
you talking
movement,
about? What are you doing? Don't
the
do that.
movement,
Let's
the
keep the
movement,
situation. Let's keep the
the
debate
movement,
on immigration because now you venturing off
the
on
movement.
something else.
No,
So
no,
let's
no.
keep.
I'm speak. Listen, man. I speak against white supremacy. You can
Not
speak about
really. No,
immigration as
no,
much
you
as you
don't. No,
want.
you do not. No, you don't. Because if you speak against white supremacy, you would speak against their tactics. Okay,
What
and
tactic?
if they're using immigrants as a tactic to be a buffer class, which white supremacy has always done. If you go back into into the 1800s with the Homestead Act, white supremacy has always used immigrants as a buffer class over us. All right. See, you might not know your history or might be a Democrat shield or whatever the case is. And I noticed that you didn't address my situation that I brought up with Chicago and that factory. You completely skipped over that, talking about, oh, well, they don't want to do agricultural work and all of this stuff. You skipped over the fact that I brought up about a documented case in Chicago. And I said that there are other cases like that too. Do you think that immigrants are only coming over here picking fruit in a farm? No, they're not. They're coming over here being police officers. They're coming over here working in hospitals. They're working in schools with your children. They're doing a whole lot of other stuff. They're not restricted to just working at a hotel or working on a farm. And that's a Democratic talking point to say, well, those jobs y'all don't really care for anyway, so let them have it. No, they're coming over here creating major traffic accidents because they're coming over here getting CDLs. All right. So let's not do that. Let's be honest. And then you want to sit up there and because you can't really give any substantial evidence as to why you're trying to vouch for them. So you're gaslighting and saying, oh, we're just not focusing on the main problem. No, we're focusing on the main problem by focusing on the tactics that they use. They use immigration as a tactic. Okay. They use these things as a buffer class. That's how a system of oppression works. You have to understand world history. The
Right.
world history works. The world history works by using buffer classes over the most oppressed class as a hierarchy. They don't really just have the ruling class and then the subjugated class. They have many different levels to create a hierarchy because it's easier to maintain the control of oppression in an oppressive system if you have a hierarchy, or rather if you have just one people who are on top and one people who are at the bottom. And what we're saying is
Right.
we need to address the hierarchy and the immigrants who are coming over here becoming complicit with that hierarchy. They come over here and they become staunch anti-black racists. Okay, they be coming over here, they be voting no for reparations. They be coming over here and falling right in line, just like what George Zimmerman and all of them be coming right in line with all of the anti-black rhetoric that the fat white man that you claim to hate so much does. Okay, ask the question: why did so many Latinos vote for Donald Trump, the fat white man that you hate so much?
I want to respond to you by saying this. You're trying to undermine me and saying, making a statement that I don't know. I know exactly what the Homestead Act is. I know that 1.6 million men in America got 160 acres of free land. That's 250 million acres of free land given to white European immigrants into this country. During that time, there was no great influx of Hispanic or Latino people into America. There was less than 200,000 Hispanic people in this country when the homesteads were first given out. So I think you're a bit disingenuous in making that statement and using the word
No,
immigrant
no, I'm
and
not
not
being
pointing out the points on that.
disingenuous. I'm
Right? Can I
saying
finish?
that white
Can I finish?
supremacy. No, because you're rephrasing what I'm saying.
You said immigrant in reference to the Homestead Act. You said immigrant. You didn't say
Right.
white people. White
No,
people
I said
receive free
Hold
land.
on.
immigration in general, but yes, white
Right.
immigrants.
Hold up.
Yes, white
After
Am
Can
I
immigrants.
I
not? Am
Yes,
I
wait a
not
minute?
allowed to?
you're.
Is this the
One
point where
minute,
y'all
But
go
the
off the
the
real?
point
Castle.
of the
Is this
Hold
the
matter
on.
point where
is
I
y'all
she
want
go
you
was
off
to
the
go
real? And I
back.
weaponized
don't
against
get.
the black
I,
Hold
community.
I don't
on.
want to mute you either, Castle, but I want you to understand that white tea people are immigrants too. The immigrants he's referring to with the Homestead Act would be the ones that MLK referenced when he said the European peasants. Those are immigrants.
That's right.
So you're being
Uh,
disingenuous. You know
All
the
right, this is what I'm gonna do.
immigrants.
I have to be able to respond. I can't.
Okay,
I'm not
I'm a
gonna deal
land.
with
I
three and
just
four
wanted that
people. Yeah,
clarity out
I'm
there.
not gonna
I
deal with
land.
that
Okay.
because our conversation. You know what this conversation is based around. I don't want to use the word immigrant. I want to use the word white people. If they were white, they were white. If they were brown, they were brown. The
White tea.
Homestead Act. The Homestead Act. Give me a second, ladies. The Homestead Act specifically benefited white
Hey,
men in America.
let's not do that. She's a co-host.
I'm no pressure.
The
And I'm
what
correcting
is
you. You need to use white tea instead of white, babe. Just use white tea. Relax.
love? I say way worse than white, and I do a
Well, you're
thousand
not
deals
gonna
a day.
say it here, nigga. Don't do
Thank
that.
you.
Now you want to break and get disrespectful.
No,
That's where
no.
we
If
going with
she's
it. That's
correcting
where
you
we going
about
with
the
it, because
room,
nigga, you trying to
if
act
she's
like
no, don't do
Mexicans
that.
got
Don't
homesteads.
don't get buck because
Mexicans got homesteads. What we doing?
Hold on. Hold
don't do
on.
that, dude. Don't do
I
that
Like,
let
because
come
you.
I'm
on,
not the
man. Y'all
Mexican.
maintain the respect. I've been very respectful,
No,
bro.
because if she's correcting you about certain things you can't say on the
Okay,
live, and then you
YT,
cut her off,
YT,
don't do that.
YT. What?
Damn.
I'm not one of them, bro. You're not gonna book on me. So let's have a conversation,
I'm
my
a
nigga. I'm
buck on
not
you
one
in
of
this
them.
space. I'm a buck on you here. This is my live.
You
I'm the
can just
host.
drop me down, bro. You can
All
just
right,
drop me
bro.
down. I
I
ain't
do.
fucked up,
I
Right,
man.
do.
Biden,
I
bro.
do.
That nigga emotional as hell. Agrees. He came in emotional. Damn. He came in offended.
You see
So
the
here's the issue.
disingenuous
I need
talking
to.
points? Talk about
Jesus.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna buck. I can buck on whoever I want to buck on here.
What is his problem? He must have been saying out loud a couple times. I got some built up animosity because he
No,
came
well,
in hot.
somebody who was gifting him usually comes in alive, which I'm glad that he came on the panel. So now I see who was, his groupies, as somebody said in the chat. But everybody knows when we say immigrants referring to the Homestead Act that those immigrants are mainly white people, correct? And they got the most handouts of all. And I want to say this when they say that FBA does not go against white tea people, only the melanated immigrants or the brown, as he calls it. I mod for people who only talk to white tea people. You cannot tell me that FBA does not go against white tea people. On
Right.
here and on
What?
Twitter, we do.
What
He
the
doesn't
hell?
pay attention to those people, or he just don't feel like mentioning them today. Okay?
He
But
can't.
FBA does, and you'll find those lives at late night, late night. You'll find those lives, okay? Thank you.
Notice how when I said now the whole you guys are focusing on the white. I'm saying that immigration is a strategy, okay? Because the thing is, the white man is not just Republican. Okay, the white man
Right.
is also Joe Biden, who's
Right.
also a white man, who's also his history of anti-black racism is far deeper, far more egregious, far longer. He has a far worse rap sheet than Donald Trump does. But that's
Right.
the white man that you don't want to talk about.
We
So
don't like
don't
to
do
talk
that.
about conservatives. That's
Y'all be
insane.
cherry picking, and y'all really are Democrat shills with a hand up your ass, and y'all sit up there are puppets for them, and will sit up and will frame it as, well, we're going against the white man, but y'all sit up there are puppets for the other white man. Most of the damn Democrats are white men, so don't do that.
And he
Man,
must
man said that he lives in the South, but he
Birds.
clearly never been to Florida. He clearly never been to California, and how the Mexicans definitely took over the agricultural business over there, especially with coming over here illegally. How the we noticed that the politicians are now getting paid by the cartel by the cartels. The owners of businesses in California are getting paid by the cartels, right? So we're seeing how they're actually pushing us out through our neighborhoods. This is how I can hear this clown talking. I could tell he never been out over here. And in the South, we're in the South. You haven't been in Florida. You haven't seen how the Hispanics over there are being racist to other black people. And then we got this clown Camilla. How did she even get to where she got to? Through us black Americans, through HBCU, joining our fraternities, joining our clubs to even get the recognition that she wanted to get recognized. Then what did she do? Favor the immigrants over us, Playboy. Over us, even though she used our programs. Like I was trying not to crash out, Afro and BX. I think you muted me. Thank God, BX, for you muting me, because I was trying not to crash out, because this
Mute
dude was just.
you. I didn't mute you. I
I
swear I
did. I
didn't
did.
mute
Oh,
you.
you did? All right,
Oh,
cool, cool.
you
No, I'm getting
did?
props to whoever did.
Okay.
'Cause thank God you did, because I was just I was upset. Just the gaslighting, the anti-blackness in his voice. You could
Yeah.
tell every time he was speaking. It was just like, yeah. So what? So what if you're trying to do X, Y, and Z? You Black Americans are the problem. Apparently, when it's time to stand up for yourself, how dare you? And just shut the f up and just lie down with it. Who cares about the immigrants getting paid, especially over here in California when they deny our reparations? They got the nerve to give the illegals reparations because they're going through a quote unquote hard time, because they're going quote unquote being harassed in businesses. Like black men and black women haven't been harassed in their business, right? Even with Amazon Prime just doing that shift, right? We still get racially profiled. That's one of the reasons why they had to wear those cover sheets, or those blue uniforms, I would say, right? Because it was black people that they did not trust, not white tea people going to their yards, dropping off packages, just little things, But this guy has all the all the words to say against his own people. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And that's what's really wrong. And Afro, thank you for very well put on how you were coming back at him, because bro, I was just being mute, just being quiet. But man, he was just so anti-black. It's crazy. And notice all the non-black people saying WKSO. And that's my point. He has non-black people on his side speaking on our issues
That's still crazy,
constantly,
Latino.
Y'all,
and
yeah.
then saying how we can't progress, but you trying to progress with other non-black people instead of progressing with your own people,
Yeah.
right?
My
I'm
thing.
gonna stop, but I'm a.
Oh, okay, there we go. My thing is that you saw me and him going back and forth. I let him speak, but the second I see you start to get buck or whatever the case is, because you were getting frustrated that you were losing. He lost. He lost the debate, and I want y'all to know that this is recorded and will be up. All of my lives are recorded and will be up. All right, so y'all can take a screenshot, but y'all don't really even need to do that because the whole thing will be recorded and be put up. He lost. If you have to keep repeating the same talking point of there's bigger problems, there's bigger problems, there's bigger problems. Okay. That's and you keep saying the same thing and trying to belittle the fact that what we know for a fact is that they are a problem. If you're saying there is no evidence, dude, what are you talking about? We have several different cases. The damn mayor of New York admitted it himself. The Democrats are literally admitting it themselves. So what do you're saying that we're making stuff up? You're arguing in bad faith at that point. You're
And
just arguing in bad faith if you're saying we have no evidence if the mayors are admitting that we're correct.
it sounded like he really wanted to agree. I don't know. Maybe you're right. He's a paid shield or something like that. But honestly, because he really didn't debunk any of your points. Like you said, he lost. So, but even with him saying, "Oh, I'm worried about the cancer and not the headache," what are you talking about? Like, first of all, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, so we can identify multiple issues at one time, especially when we have things that are directly going against our delineation movement and going against reparations. Okay, So I don't know where he was talking about, and then he's saying that we don't like to call out white tea conservative men. I think he need to go back and check your paperwork. He need to go back and check
He
your
does.
receipts, check your lives, because baby, you going in on Trump, you going on Charlie Kirk, you going in and Nick Fuentes, you going on et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know where the hell he's getting. We not talking about white men. Same thing with me, baby. Go check the receipts, because they're all there from years. You can go back from years ago. And both of us got videos talking about going in on white tea conservatives, men and women. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. He sounds like a paid shield.
Can I
Yeah.
ask y'all a question though?
What's going on, Mike?
Okay, so I've listened to both of y'all brothers before, and I just got here. I don't know what happened or what was said. But if any two people should have a discussion, it should be you and him. I don't get why y'all talking about him and he's in the queue and y'all can't come to some type of understanding or respectful level to speak on these subjects, because I've heard Castro speak before and he does speak facts. Maybe you guys don't agree on everything, but I do think it's a conversation that should be had between
Mike,
y'all.
we were having a conversation, and then he started saying some things that in this live we say, hey, we codify our words to make sure the live is up. That's all we were saying. And then he said, I can say what I want to say. I be saying worse stuff. I'm like, hey, you're not gonna do that here. And then he started getting buck with me, the host, and the co-host. We're not gonna have him acting belligerent and acting like he doesn't have any decorum here.
Okay, well,
But
let me
now
just
we
say
got
this.
Spoken
If it
for
Afro.
a
doesn't,
good
let
minute.
me
So
just say
let's
this. If it doesn't happen
Mike,
now,
no, because Mike, and you're sitting up there acting like you don't know. You were here the whole time, dude. I saw you the whole
no,
time. So
no,
don't act,
Come on.
no, I
Mike.
wasn't in
Please
here.
don't do that.
I was on the phone, bro. I
Cherry
promise you, I didn't even hear what y'all
Sure,
was
you
talking
were on
about.
the
queso
Mike.
too.
You've been here since the beginning, and you've been disagreeing since the beginning. Now you want to come up and act
Dude,
like
I
you
was
don't know
on the
what's going
phone.
on. Come on, Mike.
I was on the phone. Why would I lie to
Mike,
you?
you've been in the chat room, and
Thank
I
you,
sent you
baby.
an invite, and you said I can't come in. You've
You
been
know what? Since
disagreeing,
then, I've had two
Mike.
conversations on the
Mike,
phone, bro.
Mike. You've been disagreeing the whole time.
No, the
All
fuck
of
I
your
haven't.
comments have been disagreeing. So don't do that.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I disagree. I'm telling you that I hadn't heard the conversation between you and Gasso. I just came back in here. What the fuck?
Okay,
Excuse me. Why do I need to
He's
lie
a
about that?
he's a Democratic shield, man.
Mike,
This
because
guy's the
right
op,
before you
Afro.
came up,
Shut your
right?
pointy ass up.
Stop, Mike.
I ain't no
Come on,
fucking
Mike,
Democrat.
Mike. So you missed the whole
This guy's the
conversation.
op, man.
Okay, hold up,
You
hold
missed
up.
the whole
I'm making one.
conversation. Now
And
you're
this is what y'all
vouching for
do.
him. You're vouching for him, and you don't even know what was said in the conversation.
That's a fact. I do not know what was said because I just came back in here. I'm saying, this is all I'm saying.
Man, you lying,
Y'all
man. You
do
just
need
say
to
you
have a
didn't know he was
conversation.
sane, but you sit here vouching
Mike,
for
Man,
him. You
shut
Mike,
your
sitting there
bitch
backing
ass
him
up.
up.
Ain't nobody even talking to you, bro.
You sitting there backing him up, man. The only
stop,
bitch
Mike,
is your
stop.
mama,
Okay,
man.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. There, in these lives, the ones I host, there's a set of rules. We do this every single live, so much so everybody knows what we do. BX sets the decorum of the live, okay? And throughout the live, we'll have reminders. This is not my first time seeing Queso in one of our lives before. If we say, hey, there are certain things that you cannot say, and because he's losing, he starts getting frustrated because he keeps. I addressed every point he made, and he kept dodging the points I made. All of this stuff is going to be shown on YouTube. I addressed every point he made, and every point I made, he kept going back to the whole, well, there's a bigger problem. He dodged every point I made. And
I'm just here
I
co-sign for
literally
that
do
dude.
have receipts. I have paperwork, receipts, evidence, all of that stuff. And then he started getting buck because we set a decorum of the room. We said, hey, you got to say white tea. And then he started, I can say what I want to say. I'm like, hey, don't get buck, dude. And then he
I'm not
started
just
getting buck. I'm not gonna sit up there and do that.
And really,
okay,
he
and I'm not
started very
disputing none of that because
disrespectful
I
too.
wasn't even. I didn't. I promise you, I wasn't here to hear none of it. All I'm saying is, y'all do need to have a discussion at some point and finish it
I
because I
don't
don't think
need
you
to.
guys are on the
It's just,
opposite.
just
What do we need
Here
to for him?
co-signing
like,
talking about dude be kicking facts, but in the same time you gonna say you wasn't listening. Man, you's a Bama, man. You corny, man. Go sit down somewhere with
What
your
the fuck are
shield
we
ass.
talking
at
about?
least
Man, you's a
I'm talking about.
Bama,
I
man.
haven't
You
even.
a
I haven't even
straight
heard what the fuck y'all was talking
cornball,
about in
man.
there.
You
You the only
sat here,
cornball, dude.
you sat here and put
You talking
all
about
but the man's
Democrats and
rubber in your
Republicans?
mouth
Fuck the
and sat there and
Democrats and
put it on
Republicans.
him, and you gonna sit here and act like you ain't say that, man, and act like you wasn't here, but yet you putting the cape on
Nigga,
for him. Man, go
I'm
carry your
telling
little
you, I just
moist
got in
ass
here.
somewhere, man. Go away from here.
Okay, all right,
Hey,
Mike.
and hold
All right,
on,
Mike.
and this
I'm
is
gonna
my
say
point.
this. I'm
Hold
gonna
on,
say this, Mike.
y'all
There
avoiding
are
the
rules.
whole topic.
There are rules. First off, Mike, there are rules. We are. I can tell already. Me and him are not going to reach an agreement. I can already tell that. There's not going to be an agreement. We are going to agree to disagree. He's going to keep circling back to immigration isn't a problem at all. And I could almost see if there was a middle ground if he said, yeah, immigration is a problem, but he's not even admitting that immigration is a problem at all. Even though I said every other country in the world has a limit and rules on immigration because it affects the economy and it affects national security. He never addressed that. I brought up the situation with the ICE raid in Chicago. He never addressed that. I brought up the situation with healthcare in New York and California and in Chicago. He never addressed that. So if I'm gonna make points that he's just not gonna address, I don't see the need to talk to him, honestly.
Yeah, unconstructive.
Okay.
I say something, please?
So
All
I'm
right.
so
sorry.
yeah, thanks,
Well,
Mike.
So the
So goodbye. Because
Yeah.
before you
Afro,
came up,
Man,
he was
take
like,
this
I
to a
lost
grown
respect
man.
for this platform.
that's
A
So
probably
yeah,
real
so
something for
goodbye.
Bama,
his
a
Yeah.
real
mind to
Bama
something.
Afro,
One
a
moment,
real
Black
Bama
Issues.
that was. And
Thank
you
you,
know
Black
what?
Issues. One moment, Black Issues. So there's 10 people in the request box, and
Yeah.
Castle is number 8. We have to get to the people who regularly support Afro Elite and not just here to debate or disrupt the panel, okay? So when Afro's ready to finish his commentary on Castle, respectfully, let's move on. We gave them enough
Yeah,
time.
we
We were
did.
very considerate.
Castle
Yeah.
tapped.
Yeah.
Castle lost, and when y'all listen to the playback, the reason y'all saying Castle won is because y'all don't agree with what I'm saying. That's the
Yeah.
only
That
reason.
man heard the whole
Nobody who's
thing, man.
unbiased is gonna say Castle won that debate. He literally dodged every single point I made, and I repeated it multiple times. I didn't dodge a single thing he said, and he dodged everything. That's a loss.
I mean, he
That's a
came in
loss.
losing, to be honest. When you come in emotional, you come in losing, especially as a grown
That's
ass man.
right.
You came in talking about, hey, ain't nobody about to tell me I ain't black enough. What are you talking
See,
about?
you
Who's
know what?
asking you your
Also,
background? What are you
he
talking about?
stayed to his script. He stayed to his script. If you notice, that script had mad Democratic talking points in it. If you notice what he was
Yeah.
saying, if you notice how the script he was sticking to, and he kept repeating it over again, that lets me know when I hear somebody keep doing something repetitively and sticking to a certain, that is his shield automatically. I was just on a page. I think he came from this page I was on. I went to go swing my sword on this page with a bunch of, I mean, a black American, the little circle eye animal. I don't know if you can say it on here. You know what I mean? It's just pure daggone bootlicks over there, man. I think he came from that channel because all they was sitting back was just trying to tell us how much the Democrats did for black people. Just a bunch of lip service to all these lift all and all this investments in black community and black businesses. I say, well, where is it? I got a black business. How come I ain't got none of this money? I think he just came from that, man. He's a shield, man.
Yeah, let's be. And I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna move on to the next speaker. Kai in the chat room, sister, you was just up here. Now you kind of wolfing in the chat room. Don't do that. Don't
Oh,
do that because you was just up here and acting like you really didn't know. And we had a respectful conversation. Don't be wolfing in the chat. Don't do that. I'm trying to tell you that right now because our conversation was respectful and progressive. And now I see you kind of don't do that. I'm trying to tell you, don't do that. Let's get to Jay. I appreciate y'all patience. Let's get to Jay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. Name's Jordan.
Somebody said to mute you. How about I block you? How about that?
Um,
Somebody said then mute me then. And see, that's the dumb. See, and this is why y'all losing, cause y'all will be in here typing y'all finger. And I know I just cut you off. Y'all be here typing y'all fingers off, and then y'all come up on the platform and be all like, well, I just think that respectfully and all that stuff. Y'all don't have that same energy. The talking points that y'all make in the chat room, y'all never make that when y'all up on the panel. When y'all up on the panel, y'all literally say that y'all really don't know what y'all talking about. But then when we are saying something, y'all in the chat room going off. And then when y'all come up here, you guys admit that y'all really don't know what y'all talking about. So don't do that. Okay, Jay, go ahead.
all right. So my name is Jordan.
Okay, Jordan, how you
I'm
doing?
Black American, 24. So with the whole Kamala thing, I genuinely, I genuinely don't have like an exact stance on a party. Um, whether it's Democrat or Republican, I really don't have a stance. But I will say
Sorry,
I do
did she
vote.
give her ethnic group?
All right, my
Well,
fault.
she
My
said she
sorry.
Black American, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. From chattel
Um,
slavery ever? You descend from chattel slavery?
that I'm not sure of. I'm from Philly, so I can't really say I don't know much about my background, but I'm sure because I
Yeah,
have a
because
lot of
they
family
had
from the South.
slavery in Philly too. There wasn't any place in the nation that wasn't touched by slavery. But go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry. We just have to ask everybody. Go ahead.
Okay. So with the whole parties affiliation, whatever, I don't think like I looked at it as choosing lesser of the evils, right? Because I know a third party is going to win. I know nobody is going to run that has everyone's exact values. I know that, but I still try to vote because I don't want specific people that I feel like are detriments to the country. So I did, you know, sorry, I don't want to say my affiliation, but I don't think Kamala is horrible. Not saying that she's great, not saying that the party is great, but I'm just saying I don't think they're as bad as the other option. And with the whole immigration thing, initially, like I didn't really care. I didn't care about because immigrants never had any effect on my life. It's not something I really cared about. Um, I looked into it, and I still don't think it's that much of a problem. If anything, I see that it's kind of beneficial.
Okay.
Like their contribution to taxes, they paid like $652 billion in taxes in 2023. I don't
Now, when we say
see.
immigration,
Yes.
let me be clear. We're talking about illegal, undocumented immigration.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's just be clear with what
All
we're.
right. So the undocumented immigrants paid nearly $90 billion in federal, state, and local taxes in 2023.
Okay.
And it also says there's because I did all this research while I was waiting.
Hmm.
It says that
Does it? Let me ask you. Does it also say how much money they take out? Because when we talk about immigrants, we always we try to talk in a very pro immigrant slant, and I'm not even trying to be hateful or anything like that, but I'm also trying to say, as a community, we got to factor all of the stuff in. What not only what they put into the pot, but how much they take out the pot. How much do they take as far as government assistance? As far
right.
as food stamps, they getting thousands of dollars in food stamps. They getting a crazy amount of government assistance. They're sitting up here getting a lot of different subsidies and things like that, as far as what affirmative action and DEI and all of these immigrant set asides, DACA and all of this stuff. So how much do they take out as well too? Because if we're going to determine if they're a positive or a negative, we got to consider both the pros and the cons.
Okay. I just researched it. Says they do not take away the economy. Instead, economic research generally concludes that they have a net positive impact, contributing to the
So
GDP,
illegal
creating jobs, and paying
immigration.
taxes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So
Yeah.
because in no other country in the world does this happen. So you mean
Hmm.
only in the United States of America does illegal immigration have a absolute positive on an economy? Right? I'm asking.
Let me. I don't. Like I said,
And the
I'm
reason
just doing
why
my
I
research
know,
as
because
we
I know you're
going.
on, and I'm not trying to, because I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm not trying to like bash you or put you on blast or anything like that. I know that this is not the case because Chicago is in $1 billion in debt because of illegal immigration. New York is in $1 billion in debt, or at least was, because of illegal immigration. They have went to Congress and testified and admitted that. Okay. So you're I know you're looking stuff up and you're finding stuff on the website or what the case is, but we actually had government officials, Democratic government officials, go to Congress and say, yeah, we are in debt because of that. Okay. When I actually go to City Hall and I see them saying we're in debt, so we got to go up on the taxes that the citizens have to pay for because we're in debt because of them. In California, it's the same thing. So we have people who are actually living here and seeing our community be siphoned. And my thing is with you, um I don't know where you live, but you say you're not affected by it, so you're gonna look at it from an outsider point of view, when we are actually affected because we live in communities that are heavily flooded with immigrants. When you live in the communities that are heavily flooded with immigrants, you're going to have a real life, real deal perspective of the situation, versus if you live in a community that immigrants are not really that present in. You know what I'm saying? So when we can actually see the resources being stripped away and given to other communities. You know what I'm saying?
DC damn sure one of them, man. Because I
Easy,
mean,
easy. Wait.
right here in my block, right here where I live, man, I done seen mad. See, people think they just getting stamps and all that. Man, they giving these people houses. These people got houses.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm talking not just little anybody. I'm talking these new remodeled homes these people have, man. You know what I'm saying? I look. Do you know how many new utility vehicles I see in my neighborhood with little tiny little essays riding with ladders on it? They just.
Right.
Do you know how many new ones I see riding around here in DC? Brand
Mm-hmm.
spanking new. Come on, y'all. Stop playing with me.
And y'all don't even, my thing is that y'all are trying to stick to a script so much that y'all can't admit that this is an issue, period. Y'all can't even budge a little bit because of the script that you guys are given to defend it under all circumstances. Y'all are literally, you all are not, the people who are defending it are not even budging on the fact that, yeah, maybe we have gone overboard. Because if we haven't gone overboard, I hate to see us going overboard. If this ain't overboard, I would hate to see some overboard if this ain't it.
Right.
Come on now. Jordan, are you finished? I'm gonna let you land and then we're gonna move on. Okay, well, we're gonna move on then. Let's get to our brother Basic.
Man, what about me, brother?
I'm gonna get to you after Basic. You came right after him. I'm gonna get you right after that.
What's going on, everybody?
How you doing?
So, I think the biggest issue that I have with the people that I've been hearing speak is I really, really dislike people who prioritize other people over their own. I really, really despise people like that. So, you had a dude up here, I think his name was Queso or whatever, and I heard him say that he's from the same place as me. We both from Memphis. He claimed his lineage goes to the Delta of Mississippi. So do mine. So this dude clearly ain't tapped in the city while he trying to perpetrate like he is. Because if you was out here for real in Memphis, you'll see all these Mexicans and you'll see what's really going on. Ain't no black and brown coalition over here. I actually got a neighbor that's a Mexican. This dude don't talk to me. I don't talk to him. It ain't no kumbaya. I don't know where y'all get this stuff from. And Mexicans ain't brown. I don't like these ain't no brown skinned people. These is like
Mm-hmm.
pale people, little
Hmm.
stringy haired people. They the nephews of white tea people. What are you talking about? And correct me if I'm wrong, but when we did try to link up with these people, their leader told us they ain't want nothing to do with us. Our problems is our problems. They told us to handle our problems on our own. So where is this black and brown stuff come in that I don't get it, and I'm tired of people trying to like push that on us. He probably got some Hispanic chick that he messing with.
With a name
Um,
Queso, I can believe it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. He just up here and then getting all emotional and stuff. You can't have like a real conversation because you want to be disrespectful because he came in disrespectful. Um, because y'all asked him what his ethnic group was and he was like, "What's yours?" You know what I'm saying? Like you coming up on a platform like what's wrong with you, bro? So I don't know, man. Like some of these people weird, but I also want to say this again. Kamala Harris is not a black woman. So all these people that's caping for her, it makes no sense. She's not black. Her daddy ain't black. Dude ain't black. He's an Indian dude that moved to Jamaica. He ain't y'all heard Jamaican and think that mean that he a melanated person. He wasn't, and her mammy definitely wasn't no black woman. So I don't know where this whole black thing come from.
Mhm.
And the crazy thing is, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who these people voted for, both of them have a track record of locking black people up. That's what they was known for. But these the people that y'all was vouching for. These people was known for locking black people up. Kamala Harris was known for locking black people up in California, and Joe Biden was known for like a crime bill or something. So these are the people that y'all want us to like go to bat for. But you can't really tell us the track record for Donald Trump. All y'all can say is, oh, he didn't want some black people in his building before. Like, dude, I don't care. I wouldn't want to live in this building. And in my opinion, you should have the right to say who you don't want to live in your building. If I own a building, I don't want YT people to live in it. I want the ability to say that I don't want them in it. So what? A lot of y'all just in y'all feelings, man. You know what I'm saying? And y'all try to get up here and gaslight and say, "Oh, y'all scared of YT people, bro." We get on YT people more than y'all. Y'all don't say nothing about YT people. The only people y'all focus on is black people that don't vote Democrat. Those are the only people y'all talk about.
Yeah.
When the whole Charlie Kirk thing happened, y'all was the ones who was up there crying all up in the churches, lighting incense and all types of stuff for this dude. You know what I'm saying? Y'all love YT people. Y'all sleep with them. Y'all send your kids to the schools with them. Y'all do all types of little stuff, man. But y'all try to get on the internet and act like y'all so pro black. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like a lot of y'all folks fake. Y'all love YT people. Y'all love anybody that ain't your people. Y'all get up here and vouch for everybody over your people. You don't care that these people is undermining your people. If you was really from here and if your people was really from Mississippi, you would address the fact that your people's land was being taken. That's why these people was on these farms and picking strawberries or whatever the hell you say they came over here doing. We ain't working on no land that we ain't owning. That's the reason why we ain't trying to do it no more. Because they took our land. We was working on the land that we own. So dude, you fake whoever you is, Queso. I'm in Memphis. I'm really from this city. My people is really in this city. So you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you talking about, dude. Like you fake. You must be getting paid by these Democrats. And this city messed up because Democrats run this city. You know what I'm saying? Democrats running this city down, stealing money. Got your kids around, and you want illegal people here, bro. Like I don't know about you, but I don't want nobody being around my kids and they don't know their background. Why would you want some illegals here? You don't know what they done did in their country. You don't know if they some type of offender or something did something to some kids or some women back in their country. Why would you want them in your country? Some of y'all stupid. And how you a man and you okay with something like that? Your first order is to protect. How you gonna be okay with somebody that you know nothing about being around your kids and your women? A lot of y'all soft, man. Straight up. If you ain't putting your people first, you soft. And they go for every last one of y'all. That's all.
Real talk. Real talk. Appreciate that. All right. There is so much I still got to say, but I want to be fair to everybody, give everybody a chance to speak because I can keep going off, but and let me be fair. Let me let other people speak. So, brother, delineationist, you got it.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to speak. It's a lot of madness. When they talk about these jobs things, they need to Google Office of New Americas. That lists all the jobs that the immigrants are going to be taking from our community. Most of them are medium office jobs to medium income jobs that are about 30,000 to 70,000 in middle management jobs. So it shows how far disconnected they really are from the situation of immigration and how badly it's deeply impacting our community economically. I'm not even going to get on the fact that the task force, a lot of these immigrants that were born up there obstructing the task force, specifically California, currently going on in New York. These are things that people can actually have to research. I even wrote about it in my book, Lineationology, for crying out loud. So it's really like ridiculous that people have these type of talking points. The Nigerian guy who wanted to get rid of Black History Month, Mr. Chegg, Michael Chegg, I think his name is. Like we have a Rolodex of people who have done that are immigrant people. It doesn't matter if they're melanated or not, that have done things. We can even get onto the Asian people from obstructing the civil rights bills that our ancestors has made. It's all of these clowns. It's all these immigrants. And the biggest offenders of immigration is actually the AAPI community, if you want to really break it down, with them illegally crossing the borders, both the North and the South. But nobody's not paying attention to that because I'm on immigration heels. I don't care what they color they come in. If you coming over here illegally, you got to go. If you even coming in here illegally, we might have to check the paperwork too, because somebody over here came over here illegally. That's the type of time I'm on because I've seen that post of that guy on IG crying or whatever, saying my family been here for 20 something years and they forgot my paper and they throw me out and I'm in UK right now for 10 years. Yeah, yeah, it needs to go down like that. I don't like if your people came over here illegally and we don't even know you're legit. Y'all need to go back. Family deals. We're handing out family happy meals to everybody right now. That's what's going on. If they don't like it, come over here the right way. It's plain and simple. I don't like this is the only nation that was actually doing it with these individuals, and they're anti-Negro and they're anti-Black. It's just crazy. But yet still, you go over to Nigeria. We come over to these other African nations to help out. You know what they do? They end up burning their village. They end up unaliving our women. We can't even get their death certificates. Like the madness that some of these people are on that came on this panel is, and I sat back patiently. I did not even say a word, but it's just madness. A guy in bell bottoms is sitting here arguing with us. Keep that in mind. This man was in bell bottoms, Cass. So we see what you're wearing, player. You're wearing American Eagle bell bottoms, homie. Talking for immigration. It's crazy. It's just a straight madness.
You know, immigrants are born in the South,
I
right?
also before
Shit, bell bottoms.
because
Who's rocking bell bottoms?
yeah, there's like 11 people in the queue, so I'm gonna have to drop some people down to bring some other people up. You know, so I appreciate that. I want to make sure I get my folks up here, get my people up here to chime in. Um, Delineation is were you finished?
I just wanted to bring up the Office of New Americas with these jobs because
Oh
people
yeah.
out here acting like they're still picking fruits and vegetables. I can go and talk about the ESL program where our children can't read, but their children get learn how to English and everything to make up of it. Like it's just I could go like one upside about immigration down to the other about how detrimental and dangerous it is for our community. The money and the stuff that's being drained from our community. It's just crazy. Like some of these people need a real reality check. They don't even understand about the gangs, the GANGs that came through that threw all types of things through people windows. If you get what I mean, and it made marshmallows. If you did where I'm coming from, and I ain't talking about no s'mores. All right, but see, it's these are the type of people that will even advocate and say that we don't even need to have the pew pew rights when they got these dangerous elements running around. These are the same people that want to get rid of our pew pew rights. Like it's I'm done, man. But this is insane. They're insane.
Yeah, no, much respect. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Um,
Tap tap tap.
and
People tap
I
tap
definitely
tap.
agree. And this is why when I said the whole thing about the jobs, I was speaking on that, and I was all like, no, you guys, and this is how I know it's a Democrat shield, Democrat talking point, because y'all keep trying to reduce what they are doing to either working and cleaning hotel rooms or picking strawberries in a farm. I'm saying no, they're coming over here, they getting CDLs illegally. They're coming over here working on hospitals. They're working in construction. They're working on roofing and all. They're doing everything. Everything that we do, they are also doing. So let's not act like the only things they're doing is the hard farm labor work. That's not the truth at all. And he knows that, which is why he didn't address that. He knows that, and they all know that, which is why he skipped completely over that. All right. Let's get to the descendant.
One moment. Can y'all start tapping the screen,
Yeah, we got a
please?
lot of people
There's
here
over
too.
Yes. Tap the screen.
359. Right. In the chat, and it's only 65K likes. Please get the likes up. Thank you.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
How you
How are
doing?
you?
Okay. I'm gonna try and make it quick, and thanks for letting me come up. I just wanted to say, I feel like that guy. He really, because sometimes people talk and they don't really, do any research or they don't know, and so that kind of mess. It's misinformation, you know. Like the Office of Immigration Studies gave their report to the NAACP, letting them know that Black Americans are being disproportionately affected by illegal immigration. We're being affected more than anybody else. When you look at the numbers, like it's outrageous. And so when they did the when they did the other study and was talking about no, not the study, when they got in front of the Congress and they had all these people in there, a lot of them, black, but a lot of them was immigrants. And when they was talking to Congress, uh, what's his name? Ta-Nehisi Coates or whatever. I forget what his name is. Something along those lines. Tanisha Coates or something. But
Ta-Nehisi Coates, I think that's the correct name. Go ahead, you got it.
okay, thanks. But so I was listening to him, and he was absolutely 100% correct because he was saying the same thing we've been saying. Immigrants come over here and they used as the buffer class to keep us as the bottom caste in this country. And even though it's not in the open, we already know what's being done. And still nothing is done. They keep talking about all these daggone, well, we're going to help y'all with reparation, but we got to do a study first. How many studies you got to do? That's crap, and everybody know it's crap. Okay? When it comes to, let me tell you my own personal experience. I got I live in a DMV, but I'm in Maryland now. But I remember a couple of years back getting my son a job at McDonald's. He was still in high school or whatever the case may be. So it was easy to just go and get him a job at McDonald's. Now my niece looking for a job. I take her to the same McDonald's. It's nothing but Mexicans in there. Let me speak to the manager. Well, you have to be bilingual to speak here, huh? So don't tell me that we don't have a problem with immigration because we absolutely do. And the people who say that is the people who don't have it. They like on some elite stuff or listening to these talking points from the Democrats. Y'all know the Democrats, the kickback party.
Mm,
All of them need to be in jail, as far
mm,
as I'm concerned. But we having more and more problems. Construction, I remember some years back, anytime you seen a construction site, it was a black man, black people, black men working on construction. Try to get on a construction site now and see what's gonna happen. Nothing but Mexicans. And if y'all go on YouTube, it's a guy on there who owned his own construction company, and he was talking about the Mexicans be trying to get the black people fired. He said they
mhm,
try and get black men fired, and then they come to me saying, well, my cousin is in town. He need a job. That's what they do. So it ain't no togetherness. It ain't no camaraderie. They need to start with that. These people trying to take over and get us out the way.
mhm.
And you can see it clearly.
Yep, that's true.
Anyway, thanks. I'm finished, honey.
Thank you. Thank you. That's true. And this is what I'm saying. These people don't really care about the black community. They really don't. Because if you really cared about the black community, what's in the best interest of the black community, you put first. These people only care about what's in the best interest of a political party who doesn't have what's in the best interest of black people. Okay? Because what you're saying is absolutely true. And we're not just saying this because we're hating or jealous. There are actually studies that have been done on this issue. There are arrests we can look up on this issue. There are actual statistics and budgets that's been released that we can pull up right now for free and look it up, and we can see all the money that's been spent. We can see where the jobs are going to. We can see which community has most of which jobs now. So we're actually seeing that we can see which community has a certain amount of jobs now versus where it was 10 years ago versus where it was 20 years ago. We can tell all of these things, and we're analyzing and looking like, hey, black people, we're getting our resources and opportunities siphoned out of our community. The little bit that we did have, we're getting that siphoned out of our community by people who will come here and call us lazy and saying that we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and work harder. So come on, you can't. No, we not doing that. But thank you, I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's get to King Vegito.
So there's a lot that had to be said. I kind of crashed out a little bit earlier, but it was just like, man, it just shows why there's anti-blackness within our own people, and that's the problem with Democrats because they like to mask and saying that we're all one, under one umbrella. We're all just fighting, quote unquote, against the system. At the same time, just like how they had Homeboy over here, they hand they hand up the strings, right, and had him talking for them. Being their actual shield, not understanding the strategic chess play that's being had as using the immigrants or even the illegals as a buffer class that we have to go against because when they come over here, they're not siding with us. Who are they siding with? White supremacy. That's who they're siding with, right? And then on that, when you want to speak, again, he doesn't even speak on any white talking points or white supremacy talking points when it comes to how immigrants are even being used to usurp black people. As someone mentioned, we mentioned many positions that it's not just the farm work. They can get management and supervisor positions. I just want to let that marinate just because it's like when they cross over the border here, they could still get six-figure positions, at least in California. I'm going to pause because I really want him to hear that. Because you have black Americans over here, working hard, especially applying for these. So we have to deal with these kind of issues over here. I guarantee you that I guarantee it's going on in Texas. I guarantee you it's going. I'm getting one.
You okay? You good? Okay. Well, we'll circle back. We want to keep the room flowing, so we'll circle back. Let's get to black issues.
Yo, how y'all doing? Man,
Good,
look,
man. How you doing?
DC, true, doing good, man. Nice to see y'all again. DC is the land of local and federal contracts, man. Which a lot of these federal contracts and local contracts are now going to a lot of these Latinos. Where at one time they went to black businesses. You see very few black businesses get these contracts. How I know? Because I'm one of them, and my cousin's one of them. We just won that contract I told y'all about a couple of days ago at Fort Belvoir. So we start that on Monday. And the only reason why we got that contract is because of a lot of illegals being scared and a lot of illegals not having those were illegal, not having the credentials to be able to apply, to be able to go on base because you had to get a background check. So, there's a lot of these contracts, a lot of these jobs are being given to these illegals. You know what I'm saying? And you don't see this being trickled down to the foundations of this country. So all that gaslighting my man was talking about, and a lot of these shields, you know, their main agenda is this LGBT, immigrants, and basically feminism. That's all I can see because I know it's a lot of the Democrat shields because I was on that little whatever that was, the other page over there. There were a lot of gender dividing talk going on. Everything's about the black woman, but no one's saying nothing about the black family here in America. When it comes to black people, saying the only time you can say black is when it's the woman. And I know that's when the Democrats can say black. Other than that, it's people of color. But when they can say black, is when they talk about black women. Not no shit against none of my black sisters, but this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to play a gender divide game and keep confusion amongst the black man and the black woman. which is the nucleus of the family. So, I ain't got much to say on it, man. There's a lot of gaslighting going on as far as, these Democrat shields. A lot of these people who are fronting that they're down with us. You're coming in here like they're docile and they're down and they're understanding us, but at the same time they'll go against us like homeboy came up here caping for his mans, and at the same time gonna say he wasn't up here to hear nothing. And Afro called him out because he said he seen him in the comment section and even invited him to come up. So you know what I'm saying? These people out here, man, we just got to keep our knees on their neck. You feel me? And I'm gonna let it go from there.
Yeah, thank you. And
My
I'm gonna
my
say this too. When we talk, okay. We're gonna get right back to you. When we talk about what's in the best interest of the black community, we're gonna have to understand that all of these people are villains. All of these people are villains. You got the Democrats and the Republicans who are villains, but there are agents, because I don't even think they're just this naive. I think that these are plants and agents. Okay, there are agents here to make it seem as if the Democratic side are the pro-black side. All right, so they will completely ignore any and every sin that the Democratic Party does that harms black people. He's talking about the white man, and okay, well, let's talk about him then. And let's talk about who does what is harmful to the community. Let's not just talk about the bad things that the Republicans do. There's a time and a place for that. But every time we talk about the bad things that the Democrats do, we want to sit up there and circle back to Donald Trump. Okay. No, okay, well, let's talk about the Joe Biden. Because if you compare apples to apples, Joe Biden has done more harmful things to black Americans than Donald Trump has. If you compare case by case, apples to apples, Joe Biden has done more harm to the black community than Donald Trump has. If you want to care, if you can also put in Bill Clinton with that too. You can. I'm not talking about rhetoric, certain things that were said on Twitter. I'm talking about lives that has been affected. Because you got to think Joe Biden has been in politics way before. Come on now. Don't act like that crime bill wasn't damaging. Don't act like that, because Kamala admitted that when she debated him. See, y'all problem is y'all think that we forget about stuff. We don't forget about stuff. I remember when Harris debated Joe Biden, she called him out on his crime bill and on his stance on busing. Okay? She called him out on that. So y'all are not going to sit up here and act like that's not the case. Don't do that. And y'all want to talk about the women who've been let go, because it's not like they're particularly been fired. Let's talk and let's put the situation into context. They'd be all like, there's been 30,000 black women who've been let go. These were government jobs that were shut down, because these were a lot of DEI programs and initiatives and things that the government said, okay, we're closing that down. So a lot of different people, not just black women, but a lot of different people got let go. Not just black women, but the media is going to make it seem as if they cherry picked only black women to be let go. And if we're going to talk about the black women who are let go, let's have that conversation. But let's also have that conversation in the context of all of the black people who were let go of their jobs because they didn't want to take a vaccine under the Biden-Harris administration. Do those black people who didn't want to take that, do they not matter? Do the black people who had to get let go because all of the resources got shut down because they were given to immigrants, do they not matter? So the black people who had to get let go of their jobs, the black people who were unemployed under the Biden-Harris administration, doesn't matter. Only the black people who got let go under the Trump administration matters. Or do you not care about black people? Do you just care about a party? Now, with that being said, we can get back to King Vegeta.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had technical difficulties with everything. And
It's cool. It's cool.
well
It's
said.
fine.
Yeah, well said again too. Um, but when it comes to these these Democrats, right? They like to use us as a chess piece when it comes to displaying how diverse they are and how liberal and how peaceful, quote unquote, in they are, you know. And so, unfortunately, a lot of us like to revel in that, because that also kind of spreads into that anti-blackness, just like as you saw on full display here when it comes to, well, is more than just quote unquote our skin color. Well, we're all the same, quote unquote. We're all going through the same things. It's just the man, itself that we have to, go against and things like that. It's like, nah, but again, we have this buffer that we have to get to. It's kind of like a video game where you just have like level of bosses before you get to the boss, right? So it's like that's just unfortunately that's the kind of game that we have to play and go against in order to quote unquote overthrow white tea supremacy. So there's a lot of things that can be said. I kind of forgot what I had to say here, but at the same time,
Mhm.
when it comes to Kamala Harris running again, especially because I live in California, it really shows. Hopefully she doesn't. I gotta look into this one because she says she wasn't. But if she is trying to do it again and change her mind, and that's really absurd. Because we see again how she favors immigrants over here, and a lot of Californians over here, regardless of skin color, or whatever. A lot of them actually are against these immigrants are here, and a lot of these illegal immigration that's been taken over, which is a good thing. What Trump has done, which has said you cannot be, bilingual and say that's a job requirement to get the job,
Mhm.
because that really takes out a lot of, American people itself, or let alone Black Americans, because it's like, how we are. It's like we live over here, so if you live over here, you better speak our language, and we have that pride, and so enough be it, and rightfully so, so unfortunately, when they have these kind of things saying that we can't apply just because we can't speak Spanish, that's an insult. And then at the same time, they want to say, well, yeah, because this is our country. This used to be Mexico. It was like and then of course you had got to go into that talking point of saying, well, okay, well, what happened? What was this country called before the Spaniards took over? Because of course, these Hispanic people don't even know, anything about the colonizations on their term of the floor, right? If they quote unquote been here, right?
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna sum it up with Camilla Harris that if she does come here, unfortunately, we have to watch out because I guarantee you, or I would say the C-tails are mostly running through California and definitely implanting and granting a lot of illegals to be here to do a lot of illegal activities, in which we are catching that have said amongst the past of what these business owners are doing, with the illegal child labor work, who are like 14 and 9 and 11 years old. So it's really sad, but yeah, I'll end it there.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And let's be honest. We know these things. We're actually given receipts about things that we've seen, policies and legislations that's been signed for their behalf, for their benefit. And then when people come up and be all like, well, in my opinion, I don't think it's that bad. Okay, well, this isn't about a difference of opinion. This is about either the legislation has been signed or it hasn't been. Either this is a policy or it's not. We're talking about things that are actually in effect, money that is actually flowing, policies that are actually being signed off on. And y'all want to come up with, well, where I live, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. Okay, well, you don't need to be a part of this conversation then. Thank you. Thank you, Vegeta. Appreciate you. Now we're gonna get to Denzimas.
Hey, what's good? Can you hear me?
If y'all want Queso to come back, and we need 100,000 likes. Y'all ain't even been liking enough for Queso to come back now.
Hello?
Yeah, Denzimas, go ahead.
I muted the person that
Oh,
said
okay.
that. I was figuring we not getting the likes off of him, Afro. Oh
Oh,
no. I ain't want him to be like, I got that man to 100K.
Nah,
I
free.
gotta deal with this stuff, Afro. I gotta take the hits when you're
oh
not
yeah, yeah.
here.
Because when
But
I'm
if
gone,
you
when I'm
want
gone,
to,
I'll be back in the next couple days. They be sitting up there
right.
chasing BX down in every room. They be chasing BX down like get her.
And
Yeah.
please get off
But
queso too,
the
because he's
ultimate
blabbing
decision
about it.
is up to you, but it wouldn't be for likes. I honestly want them. And if I come off my mic to the panel, this ain't, and not to ZZ and Afro, but I'm trying to catch the quorum. Please don't come off behind me, because I'm trying to explain that European immigrant thing, and then here come the other two, and then he feel like three people jumped on them. But I am the head mod, and I was just trying to get an understanding so it wouldn't go left, guys. Okay, not to really rail against you. And I think the people who did it dropped anyway. But if he comes back up and I come off my mic, Then please let me say
Yeah,
what I gotta
I was just
say.
trying to get the likes up. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay,
She
okay, okay,
spoiled it.
okay.
She spoiled it. She like no. She got real quick. She like Afro, come on now, don't do that. She said, "Damn, I muted him. I was hoping you didn't see."
No, actually, it was a reporter that
Uh,
said to get the
uh.
that we'll get. She said we'll get you to 100K if you let Queso
We
come back.
almost at
I
100K
muted her.
anyway, and Queso ain't been up in the last 30 minutes. Queso ain't been doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Queso ain't been up, and we've been. Come on now, what's Queso doing? Who is Queso?
Yeah, and the people that come up, this is not about him. This is about
Yeah,
Kamala. Let's
come
stick to
on
the
now.
topic.
Yes.
Tell the guy with the monkey picture. ZZ don't want a man who's not even Black American with a monkey as a profile because we know what that means as a Black American. Y'all got to do better than that. Okay, we don't fall for that okey doke stuff.
Yeah.
The guy with the monkey profile, he's questionable. ZZ, we
Yeah,
spoke to him
yeah,
before. He
yeah.
thinks you're
He's a tether.
fabulous.
He's a trolling tether. He admitted it in himself. But y'all, let's get to 100. We can get to 100K likes. We hit that on the regular anyway. We hit that on the regular anyway. We don't need no debate. Ain't no debate. He lost. He lost the debate. I don't need to sit. It's a waste of time. And we got a whole bunch of other people who have more important factual things to say, who need their time to be respected. So y'all tap the screen
Is it
and
okay if I go?
then Zemas, you got it.
All right. So that guy, I feel like he was definitely a Democratic shill. He's probably one of them people who was dating a illegal or minority, the person of color. So that's why I think he was all up in his feelings. We have to just understand though, like a lot of people eat off of FBA talent. They eat off of our essence, our energy, and whatever. So now that we're delineating, you're just a constant reminder. We're us delineating is just a constant reminder of the storm that's approaching for them once we get away from their asses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he says that we don't go at YT people, and when he said that, I'm like, fool, are you insane? I live in North New Jersey, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if anybody from North New Jersey knows, we had an incident like back in the '60s where there was there was a Black versus PC incident where they did something to a sister, and it was a bunch of black men out there just unaliving. It's not funny, but they were unaliving the YT police officers in retaliation. Okay, so hell, I can go even more sooner with the George Floyd riots. We were out there kicking ass, but he also said that they're not affecting us. Bullshit, because they're building. They were around the time when Joe Biden was in office. They were building so many brand new apartment buildings. They were on. They were giving them brand new cars on. When I used to work for Amazon, I can tell you for a fact that these minority groups they have these little deals that they make with each other, because there was this female on my job. She got a brand new 2024 car, and she just came from over here. I'm like, how did you? I went up to her, man. I'm like, how did you even get this? And she was like, oh, I just had a deal with the dealership. She was like, we Spanish people, we help each other out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Alrighty, alrighty. And not only do they come over here and get benefits, but they come over here and be hostile towards us. I know none of us forgot the Asian hate crime thing where they were talking about how FBAs were targeting them. I know none of us forgot about the whole situation where that guy was talking about no more money for you. You lazy. You
Mm-hmm.
lazy. So they come over here and do all of that, and I got even one more incident on my job before Trump came into office. They were acting hostile towards me. They were getting a little buck with me, bumping into my shoulder and shit. And I'm glad that Trump did get into office, because I was like, you try to bump into me again, motherfucker, I'll call ICE up in this bitch and get all y'all asses deported. So they need to calm the hell down. But like I said, I just want to end it by saying that again, they know that due to us delineating, their bag is about to go, and YT people are going to be like, what do we need you for? You're useless to us now.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that wretched woman Kamala don't become president, because we'll be having to deal with this BS again, where they just feel like they, when these people get their weight up, they're always hostile, specifically towards us. So I really hope that she don't get into office. I don't think she will, because fortunately, I can't believe. Just bear with me on this, because this might sound a little bit messed up. Fortunately, white tea people are racist enough to where they wouldn't want to have that wretched woman in the office. So, I would hope that they would be like that, but at the same time, they are in the they're always in the mood to try to spite us. So, I'm not going to say she won't get into office, but you never know. That's it.
I doubt
I
it.
know it was crazy, but
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see what the future holds. Be one.
we'll see, Black First, brother. Thank you. Yeah, I doubt that. Now we're gonna get to Bay, the sunflower, or Bia. My fault. Bia, you can go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to remember everything, but I will address you guys on the FBA thing. So I will let you know my mother is uh, African American, born in North Carolina. Our heritage comes from North Carolina, and that can be traced back to slavery. But as far as my father's side, that is Nigerian. So I'm not FBA, or what you guys would
No,
probably
you would
consider.
be bi ethnic.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So
Okay.
yeah.
I wanted to address that because I know she said address that first. Um,
Okay.
But just to what you're saying and what everyone is saying, the problem is systemic racism. But systemic racism put these brown people in power like this. The thing about it is, I don't think they thought that they would reach this much power. They thought that they would continue to be in those jobs where they're just working as maids and things like that, and that will be all it would be. But they've started businesses, and their businesses are rivaling YT people's businesses, and that's the problem. They didn't know that they would populate this fast. They didn't understand it. So now they're understanding that this is a problem, but this problem was only created just to harm African Americans. And just to get it straight, before this influx of Browns came, there were black women who wanted to work hotel jobs and work at McDonald's and things like that. I have a homegirl who, she doesn't have an education. She was working in a hotel. She was the only African American woman. Well, they ganged up on her and tried to go to the white manager to have her fired. And all of their rooms that they were cleaning wasn't even as clean as hers. The thing is, as African Americans, we do better jobs building things, we do better jobs cleaning, we do a better job. They seem like they're doing a good job because they do things very fast and rapido, but it's never done to good standards. When they build homes, they're putting beer bottles in the walls and things of that sort. That's never up to code. Everything is always off. That's why you're getting all these new model subdivisions. Then people are having problems with their homes within 2 years of being in the homes. It's because they are using immigrant builders who are cutting corners. So to say to what the guy was talking about, this is systemic racism, and they've just used these people to come in to move us out the way, and it's pushed us back. So yes, this has pushed us back, and yes, people do want those jobs. Yes, some people, you may not want to go on a farm maybe and pick some strawberries, but maybe somebody wouldn't mind having a part-time job picking strawberries. I'm from North Carolina. We still have farmland. So when I go back home, I go pick strawberries. So maybe it's to you, you don't want it, but you don't know to who might want that job. But yes, the brown people were used to come to this country just to harm us. Now, YT people are seeing that by the time 2050, they're going to basically be completely erased. Like so many races are mixing, they will be more than likely erased. So that is their problem now, where they're trying to get them out. America has the money. We'll go and borrow from whoever. I don't think it's so much like, okay, the money isn't there. If they needed the money to be there, they'd make the money there. I just think the problem is now is that the brown community has become too big for its britches. And the white tea community is saying they have to get a handle on it today. Just think of if Nigeria was where Mexico is and Mexico was where Nigeria was, there would be a fence right there at the border yesterday because they wouldn't have all of those people with black skin color coming over into this country. Mexico has a fence to separate Mexico from Guatemala. So if they feel that they don't want the Guatemalans in Mexico stealing Mexican funds, why are they coming to steal American funds? And I'm done.
That's a good point. And to harp on that real quick, the thing is that both parties want a degree of illegal immigration. The Republicans benefit from illegal immigration as well too. So that's why they're not shutting it down all the way. They just want it to be handled better. That's the thing. They want it to be handled better. They want to put a little bit, they want to have a little bit more control over it because the Democrats just kind of just opened the floodgate. But I'm saying this not as a Democrat or as a Republican. I'm saying this as a black person. As far as where we need to go as the in the black community, this is a negative. And nobody has came up here thus far and made the argument that it's not a negative, it's actually a positive for the black community. Everybody has given receipts, has given cases that this is a negative for the black community. Nobody is saying that it's a benefit, but we should just ignore that it's a negative because they're not a Anglo-Saxon European. Because they're not a European, we should ignore how they harm the community. I think as black folk that we should pay attention to any and everything that harms the community, not only the Europeans. And I think that that's the problem, that we give passes where passes shouldn't be given.
You said nobody came up here and made that argument. Please don't, because the topic is Kamala is running again in 2028. The topic is not immigration. Just saying. Let's move on. The brother not even in here anymore. He's not on the panel. It's not his show. Let's move on.
Well, Zizi, well, then turn back to the prompt then, because I was just going to ask you what's your opinion about this, but okay.
Yeah, no, I just feel like
we
it's
was giving you enough
we giving him
time.
too much energy. He already in the
But
chat. I came back up when they got food and came back. You're still talking about me? Nigga, no. We talking about
but
Kamala running in 2028.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
we're
all of
gonna
the
move on.
people who vote, y'all are the ones who sit up there and the people who advocate for immigration or whatever, you guys will beat up anybody who says that, hey, Kamala needs to be held accountable. And this was the biggest thing. This was the biggest issue why she lost is because of her stance on immigration, the Democratic Party stances on immigration. Because she didn't just lose because of her, even though she wasn't qualified. She lost because of the party. Because the party has been messing up for years now. And any and every time we try to address the party, here you guys come trying to gaslight. Somebody says she lost because she was a woman. No, she didn't.
Please.
And here's the thing. I know you guys don't believe that because when she lost the first time, do y'all remember she ran the first time? Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember when she ran against
Voted
Joe
for her
Biden and lost to Joe Biden? When she
in the
lost to
primaries.
Joe Biden, y'all never said she lost because she was a woman. Y'all damn sure didn't say she lost because she was a black woman. She wasn't black when she lost to Joe Biden. She wasn't a woman when she lost to Joe Biden. But when she loses to Trump, it's because she's a woman. Y'all didn't care when she lost to Joe Biden. Remember all of this? Oh, this is because the black woman is not respected and there's so much sexism in the country. When she lost to Joe Biden, y'all was cool. Y'all said she didn't deserve to win. But then when she loses to Trump, now it's now she's a proxy for black women and how the country treats black women. Get out of here. No. No, you're not doing that. Yeah, okay. Y'all can keep talking how y'all want to talk, but we got all the receipts. Come on now. Let's get to Cash.
1 minute before Brother Cash goes, shout out to Bia. That's how I like to hear my biethnics talk. Very well balanced, straight to the point, told us who she was. But I want to say this about the house N-word, right? That is a parable. Whitey people ain't want nobody in their house, and if they had to have somebody in the house, if they were light skinned, dark skinned, or ambiguous looking, Y'all got to cut it out. It was a parable. Stop calling people house N words and you don't even know the real of what was happening in the house. Thank you. And I personally think that he's a brown N word, that one there. Castle.
Hmm.
He's too pro brown and running this black and brown coalition when we know that there's no such thing. It's only a one sided narrative because black people want to run with everybody and browns only use it. I mean, we love on everybody until they do us wrong. And Browns only use it when they want us to do some things for them, right? They want us to allow them to say the N word. We want them they want us to say they created our culture with us, or they did it first. Or they want us to vote their way. Cut it out. We ain't stupid. There's no such thing as a black and brown coalition. Okay? Because they never get up on stage, national stage, and say brown and black folk, brown and black folk. But they're trying to do that at our reparations hearing. See how that
Hmm.
works?
Hmm.
That's what we use that term all the time. Black and brown, black and brown, black and brown. I started noticing they wasn't saying brown and black, brown and black, brown and black until they wanted something from us.
Yeah, that's absolutely the truth. 100% correct. Thank you. Yep, that's true. And if we get something that they don't get, boy, are they the first people on the front lines to get that shut down. Them and let's be honest, all of the immigrants. If immigrant comes here, Asians too. Come on, we got to talk about that because y'all was on the front lines. The Chinese people specifically was on the front lines talking about how black folk are getting let into college unfairly, and black people were too dumb, and how they were taking the spots that Asians deserve. So if they feel like black people are in their way in any way, they will be on the front lines to get that shut down. But we need to be on the front lines to help them stay here. I don't think so.
Hold on, absolutely. So he called you a house N word. I muted him, and I think that somebody came behind me, but they thought they was muting him and unmuted him. He's in the chat. He says, "BX, don't mute me to save this clown. I'm bashing him in front of at least 600 once he shut down." So he plans on going live. I don't know if that will.
He
I
can't.
don't
I
know.
knew he was. He want to get clout off it because he feels bitter that he lost the debate. You lost, dude. And here's the thing. You don't know this because I got a pretty big YouTube channel. Okay, this channel, this is gonna go on for the culture, which is almost at 10,000. So if you guys are listening on YouTube, y'all need to make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Okay, we're right there. We're right there. Everybody, this is gonna be seen by thousands of people. Thousands, and I'm telling you right now, we got a few hundred people in here. Thousands of people are gonna see the fact that you lost. You don't know who you talking to.
So
Me
when
individually got thousands of subscribers on here. Yo, you really don't know. You about to get blasted by thousands of people. So your little TikTok thing where you might have 90 people in here, it's not gonna do shit. I wouldn't even
So
bother.
here's my issue. Here's my issue. I believe that he knows that you have a YouTube following because
Mm-hmm.
when he was talking, who was gifting him has been in our chat before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He also had a very ambiguous looking person. I couldn't tell if they were white tea or white tea Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
They came in here months ago. So I believe that when the Pan Africans start showing up, the Democratic Shield started showing up, is because people were already in the chat scouting them and they're going after
Mm-hmm.
big numbers because they don't come in my room. They don't come in other people's rooms. You get it?
Mm-hmm. They're
So
trying to,
they
yes.
scoping out the FBA with platforms,
Yes.
significant numbers.
And this
Yeah.
is why I think this is a DNC shield. And I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna get to Chase. I think this is a DNC shield because notice how all of the Democrat shields are all kind of sounding the same, just coming out the blue. Cash, Consciously, Deontay
Deontay.
Kyle, all of them are just coming out the blue, dissing foundational Black Americans with the same exact rhetoric, the same script, the same talking point. It's they literally sound like parrots because they're regurgitating the same thing. And they're doing this right before the midterms because they want to, or they at least are trying to discredit the movement. And they feel like if you discredit us, people who have profiles, you're discrediting the movement in general, and it's not working.
And I want to say this, and then we can move on when you're ready, Afro. I didn't block him. I muted him, and the reason why he's muted is for saying the N word, right?
Hmm.
Um, in the chat. So my issue is I didn't. We're not on that type of timing right now. It's very calm. I'm very calm because usually I would have came off my mic and I say that's the ancestors saying let it play out, right? Even though Afro tells me that all the time. And so if he's willing to come back respectfully, the choice is up to Afro, of course. But maybe another day when he's not showboating or grandstanding to get large number of people in his live off of Afro Leaf's name, they can have the discussion again. It's 11:11. An angel number. We're on the right path. Foundational Black Americans. I say to us all, I love you for
We
real.
also got
I'm
to
a
be
man.
careful because some people want to argue for clout. They want to argue with people who have big profiles just so they can get followers because they know people who don't agree with me are going to follow him just because he's disagreeing, not because he's speaking any facts or anything like that. So a lot of people like to argue for clout. Now, if it was an actual intellectual argument where he can bring up receipts and we can go back and forth and all of that stuff, then okay. But he couldn't do that. He was dodging all of my points. So what is there to argue then? If I make a point and he don't address it, but he make a point and I address it, is that an argument? I don't think so, and it's not one I'm going to engage in. I don't because I don't have to. Let's get to Cash. You got it, brother.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be here again. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yo, so much to unpack, right? But I'll be brief so others can speak. So first thing I want to address is the fact that Kamala Harris was supported, or better yet, not supported, but um, let me word this correctly. Nick Fuentes, right, is a Democrat YT supremacists who voted for Kamala Harris. So let that sink in for a second. For those of you who are happy that she's running again or might run again. And yeah, we call out the Republican chills too. We call out the YT supremacists on the right. You know, obviously we were doing that when what's his name got popped in the neck not too long ago, you know. Because he voted for Donald Trump, but y'all don't want to talk about the left side where you have YT supremacists supporting Kamala Harris. Let's talk about it, right? So, as far as the immigration thing goes, I really, really, really want those who are not familiar with the negative effects of immigration on Black people or this country in general to go research Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. Please read that book, especially Black people listening, foundational Black Americans. Read Dr. Claude Anderson Powernomics. Also, there's an article that was put out by the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, and it was titled, if I recall correctly, it was called The Negative Effects of I'm sorry, it's called the economic and fiscal consequences of immigration. So there's a lot of research out here that shows, you know, the negative effects of immigration, not even just on Black people. Yeah, you YT people are affected too. You don't even realize it. But if we're not talking Black American first, I don't want to hear it. If we're not talking American first, I don't want to hear it. You Democrats are man. I don't know how y'all still voting for somebody that literally played in our faces. That Let me remind y'all. She said she washed her greens in the bathtub, and uh, uh, she said that she was a Black woman when it was convenient for her. She cosplayed Black Americans, right?
Did you tell your
Imagine.
ethnic group, Cash? Did you give your ethnic group?
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm bi-ethnic. I'm foundational Black American and Trini. So, yeah, imagine if Kamala Harris cosplayed a Japanese American or something like that. You know, imagine if she said she cooked her teriyaki chicken in the bathtub or something. I mean, like, do we really think the Japanese would accept that? Do we think that the Japanese would still vote for her in the upcoming 2028? Hell no, they would not do that. So let's stop acting like we have to accept disrespect from the Democrats or Republicans But Kamala, please stop playing in our faces. And Afro Elite, you said it. You hit the nail on the head, man. These shills are coming out left and right because it's midterm season. And I land my plane.
Yep, it's true. That's true. Thank you very much. And this disrespect that we just get told we need to ignore. We need to ignore.
We
I
got
mean,
bigger
for real.
problems, other problems. Hmm.
Let's get to our brother Omega.
B1 family.
Right first, brother.
You are.
Uh, yeah, respect to you, ZZ. You cooked on that live earlier today.
Oh, thank you.
Um, yeah, but what I was getting to, man, like I do electrical work down here in Florida. You know what I'm saying? And like I tell you from experience, it don't matter what trade you are in. Like Latinos, they pretty much dominate the job site. You can look around; they outnumber us and the YT people. So I don't know where Buddy was getting that talking point from, but it's not from like personal experience, straight up. Um, Number two, like to speaking to the prompt, Kamala was gifted all of her political career, like from when she started out there in California all the way to the vice presidency. Like her this past campaign, it was just basically a highlight reel of cringe shit. Excuse my language, but that's what it was. It was real awkward. It was totally insulting to our people, like old boy was just saying about the bathtub collard greens. Like, just disrespect. She might as well. She in the same category as Miss Hilly, hollering about she walk around with freaking hot sauce in her bag in her purse. But that whole thing, like that campaign, if you were black and you saw that for what it was, you had to be insulted. And if you're not, I really feel for you. Um, in terms of the people that defend her, like they are carbon copies of her in the Democratic Party in whole. They very condescending. They crash out very easily. You know what I'm saying? When they're not getting their point across, because they used to talking in echo chambers, and when they run across people who think for themselves, actually use facts to make an argument, it's like going up a brick wall. And when you have a script and you can't go outside of that script, you start looking, you know what I'm saying, real suspect. So that's just that. Not only that, people heard about that book, and she basically threw that whole party under the bus. I don't know who in that party is going to be dumb enough to back her, but that's going to be interesting in it of itself. But overall, her policy, her history, her personality got her rejected twice. So I really don't think she's gonna get another shot at the bat. That's just my thoughts. B1, I land my plane.
Yeah, it's not likely. She burned too many bridges with this last run. She really did, and it would make any sense for anybody in the party or donors to back her again. Third time at bat, no. There's not. They only did that because they literally had no other option because Biden dropped out last minute, and they were almost forced to back her. But now they're not doing that. They didn't want to back her when they were forced to. Now they definitely not going to do that. I don't. It don't make no sense to me. All right, and I want y'all to understand the people who do vouch for her and back her. Notice how these people don't care about what's in the best interest of black people. Because we're talking about what's in the best interest of black people, and they're saying we should overlook that. They don't care about what's in the best interest of black people. They don't. Let's get to let's get to and I want to also add this. I want to also add when people talk about Donald Trump and Donald Trump's history, notice how if people were having a live, if anybody had a live and they were just going off on Donald Trump, and that happens all the time on TikTok, where folks be going off on Donald Trump, you do not see anybody in this panel jump on there and defend Donald Trump at all. You don't see no. You have never seen me, ZZBX, nobody go up there and be all like, "Hold on, man, y'all doing too much. Y'all keep going off on Donald Trump. I got to defend Donald." You don't see us doing that with Donald Trump, with JD Vance, with none of the conservatives, none of them. But it's only when a Democrat is being held to accountable do y'all keep jumping up here trying to play defense. See, the thing is that y'all not really pro-black. Y'all not really doing what's in the black community. We are. We're doing what's in the best interest of the black community. We are. Y'all got different and hidden agendas, and you guys are disguising that as pro-blackness.
I told y'all that boy native something else. That boy is a snake in the grass. He in the comments talking about you do it here.
That I know.
Okay,
I was gonna type it, but then I said, let me say it.
yeah,
Thank you
say
for
it.
calling it out, Judy. So
Nigga been
native.
talking shit the whole
Here's
time.
what we saying. Here's
I
what we
peep.
saying. Kamala is on the prompt, right? So they come up here and instead of addressing Kamala, they're addressing Trump and Trump's administration. So we are defending the issue of Black Americans not really upset about the immigration issues. We don't go scrolling and see Trump on a panel on a prompt and say, "Oh, I gotta go in there. I gotta defend President Trump." We just
Right.
don't do that. Y'all come into our spaces and deflect to Trump. So that's what we're defending. Immigration and how Kamala is not necessarily a good choice. So I'm gonna tell you personally why Kamala will never get my vote. And now the melanated immigrants made it so I ain't voting for them either. I left the Democratic Party in 2016 to the non-party thing, voters categories. The only issue for me is I gotta wait until after the primaries to see who I could possibly vote for, right? But my issue is that she touched my ancestors' vein. Now, if everybody understands who BX is, knows that BX loves her ancestors, you know? Without them, I wouldn't even have the kids I have, even though they have Caribbean. See how that works? Because the world that they built here in the United States of America afforded their father, who is an immigrant, to migrate here and feel safe enough to try to build a life here. And that goes for the Nigerians who come here, that goes for the Haitians, that goes for everybody. So I'm not necessarily with the disrespect of my ancestors. Kamala was very disrespectful because if the one thing my ancestors' descendants deserve, which is me, Afro, ZZ, Omega, Mary, Cash, I don't know who Jeezy is yet. We deserve our ancestors' bank to we deserve to be called to the table and then be given whatever business program she came up with that was based on that bank to us, the rightful descendants. And only what, two Black people she mentioned who had businesses, and we don't even know if they were true descendants. And before I started complaining native, I researched how I could fill out an application for whatever was going on. Then to say you're not going to do anything specifically for us, but I see the Asians and what they got and what was written out for them and stuff. I seen the immigrants and all this other stuff, and the melanated immigrants that's in our office, okay? That's voting no to things like reparations, telling New York, because New York activists, reparationists are pounding the pavements, right? And they're asking the melanated immigrants, I'm going to hurry up, Afro, for a letter. They ain't asking for no money. They ain't asking them to put their bodies on the front line. They said, look, we want to pass this bill or get the numbers disaggregated. Will you help us? Nobody responded, or those who responded said, well, can't do it. They finally found one person out of 100. And you want me to keep voting for the Democrats? Immigrants, besides Brian Donaldson, them likes, will always be Democrats. They will always be pro-immigration, where it's basically an invasion. Why? Because they want everything my ancestors fought for. Stop exploiting my ancestors, and then maybe we could talk about a Democrat 60 years later, okay? If I'm alive. Thank you.
Yep. Now we're gonna get to Mary, but before I say something, I want the women to pay very close attention to the men that advocate for her. Just notice that the degree of character that they're displaying in the chat room and on the panel. Just notice that these men are so sassy and immature. They're sitting up there. They're acting like they're typing on the phones while they laying on their stomach with their feet in the air and the anklet dangling, clacking with each other. Notice that, Mike. I gotta call you out, Mike. Dude, you came up on the panel being all like, "Man, I don't really know what happened. I don't know what nobody said," because you don't want us to get on you talking about I don't know what happened, but you was in the chat room typing the whole time. No, bro, I was on the phone. I was on the phone and typing, but I didn't hear what was happening. I was just typing. And now you talking. These people be talking in the chat room, and then when they come up here, they don't know anything. Are these the men y'all really want to be leading the community? Are these the men y'all really want to be in charge of the future of black people? Come on now. I'm just asking. Let's get to Mary.
How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Good. All right. I just wanted to respond to the misinformation from the agent that came up earlier in regards to immigration. So I'm from New Orleans, and prior to Hurricane Katrina, we had 67% black population. Um, And after Katrina, we had an influx of, and we did also have immigrants. We had a lot of Hondurans, Haitians, and Vietnamese. Got along just fine. Okay. After Hurricane Katrina, we had an influx of Mexicans and Hispanics from other places who came and started to take jobs. I mean, that's the truth. When they were saying earlier about the misinformation and making it seem like these are jobs that people don't want, I hate when they push that narrative because it's not true. And when I say it's not true, when it comes to New Orleans, I can speak for there. It's not true. So you had a bunch of construction jobs that used to be done by black people. That's who did it. And I even remember because I come from a family of contractors. I remember like my grandfather and my father and people speaking about how they were coming and undercutting the pricing and the quality wasn't good. And so they ended up going back to them, but that was literally 20, like almost 20 years ago when that was starting up. And it's New Orleans is a hospitality city. So a lot of our jobs are in hospitality. So a bunch of the housekeeping jobs, those were all filled by black people. And if you look at present day, when it comes to construction and when it comes to hospitality jobs, they're filled with immigrants. The problem is, okay, you want to say that's okay, that we need to be accepting of everybody and all that, and it's not going to hurt us, but they don't hire black people. They don't hire black people. They come in and they only hire themselves. That's just how they go about doing things. And when we're talking about New Orleans is 30% below the poverty rate. Okay, so we went from 67%. It's a 67% black city to now it's 56%. So 30% of that, those people are below the poverty level. What jobs are you expecting them to do? To say, sit up there and say, oh, these are jobs that people don't want. Those are the jobs that they were doing. It's like they try when they say that stuff. It's like do you think people are stupid? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's who the jobs are being taken from. I just had one other thing to say, which is, New Orleans right now is $100 million, the budget. They initially said they were going to have a surplus, and now it's been discovered that it's $100 million that they don't have. And so they're deciding on what they're going to have to do. They try to go borrow money from the state. Now the state is saying they don't want to pay. They're not going to pay the money, and they're going to have to figure it out on their own. And guess what? One of the things that they have proposed to do was, now New Orleans East is a district that is majority black and has been, it's literally the only place that has not been gentrified yet. The proposal that they're saying that they want to do is to get rid of the New Orleans East Renaissance Plan. So it's a revitalization plan for New Orleans East.
Mm.
So when they were talking about the whole thing with the mayor, now we have our first Mexican mayor. She's born in Mexico, and we had two people who were black that were running against her, and they were saying that they were trying to make it about race and da 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 da. When you say stuff like that and you talk about how somebody is not going to benefit your people, and then when you don't have the money, the first thing you do is you're going to cut from black people. We have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I land.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We're told, we're shamed, not just told, we're shamed if we don't suffer in silence completely. with just no end in sight. There's no end to the suffering. Nobody's trying to stop the suffering or anything. But we are told that if we don't suffer in silence forever, for eternity, we're the bad guys. That's what we get told. And the thing is that what Mary just said, she's not the first person to say that. Pretty much we've all said that. Where if a Hispanic comes in there, a Latino gets in there, then it becomes an immediate purging of all of the black people. They immediately start systematically plotting to get all black folk up out of there and replace them with Hispanics. And this happens all throughout the country. In every single city, in every single state, you see them up in there. The second one gets in there, now they all like, okay, let's do the black cleansing and get all of the black people up out of there. That, and you see that happening with a McDonald's. The second a manager gets in there, oh, that's the last time you see a black person get hired there. That's the last time you'll see a black person get hired there. Then it becomes a purging. There was a lawsuit. I forgot what state it was. It was a school. I'm going to say this briefly. It was a school where a black teacher, he got fired. He got fired, no, he's filing a lawsuit because there was the superintendent was Hispanic. It was a black person before, and then the superintendent was Hispanic. And then next thing you know, they start shortening the pay, shortening the overtime, and start unnecessarily firing and suspending the black teachers in particular, forcing them up out the school and the staff, not just the teachers, the staff and faculty. Somebody said Texas. Was it Texas? It was Houston, Texas. Okay, so you know it. Forcing black people up out the place and then replacing them with Hispanics. Okay, somebody saying it was. I guess it was Houston then. I remember. I forgot where it was. Thank you guys for that. Yeah, it happened in Texas. So what are y'all talking about? We need to be on some black and brown coalition where everywhere they go, the first agenda is getting black people up out the room. And we sit up there, every room we go into, we want to open the door for them. What type of insanity is that? That's insanity.
And that's not just with the low income jobs either, because I heard somebody mention and say something about that. I spent almost 10 years in New York City, and I was having to hire people who were immigrants who are coming over. We're going to provide them with free housing and a close to 6-figure job to do work of people that we have locally that could potentially be doing the same level of work, but we're going to instead give that to immigrants. And the reason why that's bothersome to me is because I know who that's taking jobs away from. You know, it started off being you want to be not required, what's the word? Preferred to be bilingual. And now you go online and these jobs are there saying, literally telling you it's required to be bilingual. I know I don't need to be bilingual to manage an apartment building, because anybody coming there who really wants an apartment, they're gonna get their cousin, their mama, anybody on the phone who speaks English to talk and say whatever they need to say. They're doing that because they want you to manage the staff, because they're getting low wage paying jobs, and nobody speaks English. So it's just easier on them to hire somebody who speaks Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what type of, and I'm going to say this, and then we're going to get to FBA Dynasty, and then we'll get to Jeezy. We'll start wrapping stuff up there. But I want to say, do you know what type of outrage and riots, do you know what type of very violent riots would be occurring if millions of us were in Mexico, and they are saying, well, now the new policy is that you have to be able to speak English in order to get a job. Do you know how the Mexican citizens would be burning stuff down and flipping out if they were required to speak English to get a job because we speak English? Do y'all have no idea what they would be doing? And we got to accept the fact that now we got to learn their language to speak a job, to get a job in our country.
Nobody would
have to. It's not even it's not even preferred. It's a requirement now.
And then the big bad orange man, did he sign an executive order or write a bill, something like that, where he was saying that English is the official language? I covered that a little while ago. Was that an executive order he made?
Yeah.
It took effect in August, I believe.
You said, say it again?
It took effect in August, if not mistaken. And they're
Okay.
removing the other languages from like government forms and stuff like that. I gotta say, I'm not opposed to that, right? Because I don't understand why we're conforming to immigrants, right? We know that our ancestors' language was said to be beaten out of them, right? And so I don't like, well, not that I don't like, but I don't think that it's really good when you are qualified for the position, but it says bilingual preferred. Why they just not buy? This is my solution to that, right? Because we do know they're letting these people in and they deserve to understand what's going on with them in the communities they're in. Why not get one translator for certain departments that have a high concentration of Latinos coming in there? Like, this don't make no sense to me that everybody has to be required to speak Spanish. Why?
Hmm.
So Spanish and Mandarin are the two, in New York at least, the two most high demand languages. And I just think they should get one translator and let everybody else get the job. And I want our call centers back because I don't understand what them people be saying.
That part. That's a
DX,
fact.
can I say this? Because this really bothers me when I hear this. Let me just add this. They be all like bilinguals preferred. Okay,
Right.
I get it. I get it. But my thing is that y'all speak incredibly fluent Spanish and y'all barely speak English. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Y'all English don't make sense. We can barely understand what y'all be talking about. Do y'all understand how stressful that is? That's annoying
Yeah.
as hell. Y'all barely speak any English at all. And we sit up
Yeah.
there, we got to tell it, y'all are not bilingual. Y'all can't speak English. What the hell are we doing?
That's true.
Oh
That's
my
true.
God, that be annoying me. And if you say something, then it's automatically you being discriminatory and you being the bad guy. Oh my
Hmm.
God, that be annoying.
They
Hmm.
speak Spanish and Spanglish.
Hmm.
For real.
For
For
real.
real.
Or no English, or no English at all.
Yeah,
Like the
they right.
And
workers,
let
No
me
the
say
workers
English.
this.
I've had to manage, they don't speak English at all.
There
I
was
believe it.
a Facebook group, right? And it got pretty intense with racism, right? So this came up before. Now this had to be 2017. And do you know the black people were saying, yeah, they should learn English, right? And the white teen woman said, listen, if they don't learn English and we hear Spanish, they should go to jail. And I was like, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not saying put them in jail now. So you think black people are extreme? Y'all want to be in the rooms with white tea people and the things they really say that should happen to y'all. And I was just like, that's extreme. So being in New York, I don't mind. If it's an elder, she's speaking her language, I'll try to figure it out because she lived her life, she raised the kids. I ain't gonna tell her to go take an English class. But if you have been here all your life and supposedly have taken ESL classes, ain't no reason why I should see bilingual preferred. You should know some shit by then, or we're just wasting
Hmm.
city funding on classes that's not benefiting even the children. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll land there.
Yep. Let's get to FBA Dynasty. FBA Dynasty, you there?
Pointing out, I
Listen.
don't know, hasn't been
Hey,
speaking.
Afro. Hey, let's be clear, y'all. This is an attack on the delineations by the Democratic Shields, the paid shields. And like this ain't nothing new for me, you guys. What you going to do down there in New Orleans with the Mexican mayor, what y'all how y'all pushing back in the Chi Town, big up to y'all. And what's
Hmm.
going on in New York. We've been going through this in California, man. And let me tell you something about this lady Scamala. If anybody in their right goddamn mind that's a black American, we know that as far as we concerned, her career is over. Gavin Newsom's career is over. Even Maxine Waters, even Brandon Johnson, all of them is on the same page. They all pushing the same agenda of trying to attack our delineations because they know that, you know, cold and politically, and we not going with their agenda, and we not on no type of immigration status for nothing that they got going on because ain't nothing benefiting the black Americans. This lady Scamala right here, I sit up here, man, and live through this lady have a man on death row, getting ready to execute the man on death row, and she was gonna leave the man stranded for dead till some lawyer, the people had to damn near sue her and get her kicked out of being the DA for San Francisco. Let me tell you about this lady. That's why I don't think that this lady gonna have no shot, man. Because even you got people out here in California that are non-black Americans, and they don't even like this lady.
Mm.
We got people from outside the country, from these European countries. They didn't even vote for this lady. They were telling me when I was in the grocery store, they didn't give a damn about this lady. This lady sent a mother to jail because the kid was sick and he missed quite a few days from school, and they put this lady in jail. This lady she ain't worth pennies and nickels on a dollar, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Gavin Newsom, Maxine Waters, and even Brandon Johnson in Chicago, they got the same format. They sending their Democratic shields out here to attack our delineations because they know that we ain't going for it unless they got tangibles or reparations on the table. Well, with that, I'll end. Be one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And and for the people be all like, no, she's doing her job. She's doing her job. Was her job to discriminate against black people?
Hmm.
Was that her job? Because it seemed like all of her job as a prosecutor, or all of her policies, or her targeting as a prosecutor, was against black folk. Because it wasn't against police out there who terrorize black people. It wasn't against them. So was her job to attack and arrest black people? Was that her job? I just want to know what her job, because she might have just been doing her job. But let's state what her job was. Okay? Because it wasn't justice. I know that much. Let's get to Jeezy.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah. The Democratic Party are a bunch of they're cannibalizing themselves with racism, misogyny, and their hypocrisy. They had, and it will show in 3 years when they have two white candidates, Pritzker and Newsom, and Harris and AOC, a black woman and a Spanish woman, and they're going to choose the white man. That's one reason, and they have a Democratic senator candidate that has a schmozzy tattoo on his chest, and know what they're saying? Oh well, he went through a bad time, and he didn't know it was a schmozzy tattoo on his chest for 20 years.
Did he give his ethnic group?
No, I don't. I think he needs to give his race too. To be honest.
No, I'm
I
white.
know,
I'm
that's
white.
why I said ethnic group.
Yeah, I'm white too.
Oh, you okay?
Okay, he's white
Okay,
too.
I figured.
Yeah, and so they're going to expose themselves with everything they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And for the immigration part about it, my company was working through a temp company that brought in a lot of illegals, and they couldn't hire them because of their non-documentation. So now they hired a different temp company, and now we hired 6 Black Americans. So yes, it does help Black Americans, and when they illegal immigration hurts Black Americans. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So when you get them out, you bring in the Black Americans that need these jobs,
Yep. Thank you.
and they
And
put them
speaking of
in those
helping Black
communities.
Americans, what is your stance on reparations?
What is my stance on it? Yeah, I believe it should happen, but I believe it's never going to happen. But I believe you have white liberals in the Democratic Party with black skin and brown skin. They just have different skin color, but they're the same white liberal policy. We're going to promise you everything and give you nothing.
Okay, but you said it's not going to happen because the liberals are the issue.
Yes, I believe they're going to promise them everything and they're not going to
Okay,
do it.
well, do you think that the conservatives support reparations?
No, I mean, yes, I don't. I rephrase. The government is the issue, but this
Okay.
my stance from liberals is they
Do you
promise
think?
everything.
Okay, that's fair. Do you think that the average white person, not a government official, the average plain old regular Joe, supports reparations?
To be honest, I don't think they even think about it. To be honest,
Well, because I'm asking you this because there's been a few studies done in multiple states to say that majority of white folk do not agree with reparations. Why do you think that is?
why do I think it is? Well, I think it's because it's hard to target who the who the money would go to, or land, or how you would target that.
Okay, so you think that they just don't know?
No, I think they know, but they're acting like they trying to act like they don't know. I think
Well, it's
I think they think it will be a kind of a money grab, and they just don't want to give it. So they're trying to put two things together.
So you think they think it's a money grab?
Yes, I think that people would they think people would get into it that didn't deserve it, and that's why they're trying to hold it back. I just don't think they don't want to give it, and that's another reason.
But you feel like foundational Black Americans deserve reparations, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. And you feel like the average white person doesn't feel like we deserve reparations, right?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say a lot of them think that way. A lot of them just don't even think about it.
Don't even think about it. I don't know about that because there's a bunch of lawsuits every time we try to get reparations. But let me ask you this: why is it? Because I can't speak on this because they're not a part of my community. But why is it that white people are so bothered by the success or progress or even the idea of progress for black people, but they don't have that same energy, fear, or anger when it comes to other groups of people's success? Like why is foundational black Americans getting slavery reparations an issue, but when the Japanese got reparations for being in internment camps, that's not an issue? Or when
Well,
you have people who are claiming to be Native American, when they're getting reparations and treaties and different resources and things of the sort, that's not an issue. Why is it particularly us who they have an issue with? Why do you think that is? From
I think it was because you were the initial target of the oppressed. You were the initial oppressed of the oppressor, and called horrible things. Government did policies to hold you down. So there's no way that they can let you overcome them. That's just like they're going to fight to do everything possible for that.
mm.
And these white liberals in there, white, and I say black liberals that have they're white liberals with black skin, and you heard what I said. So they're pushing, like you said, that buffer. Like I've been listening
But
forever. That buffer is 100%. They're just can't. They're finding another way to oppress black people, and they're doing with the illegal immigrants.
yeah, but okay, and to the degree that I can agree with the fact that we are the target. Y'all just heard him admit that because we are the descendants of slaves, we're the original target and we're the main target. So all of that, well, no, racism, they don't know who they targeting. The police don't know who they pulling over. We're the main target. Let's be very clear with that. All of
Oh
these
yeah,
other people are targets by proxy. But we as the descendants of American chattel slavery are and have always been the main target. So that part is correct. But you keep trying to put the blame off on the liberals when you just earlier admitted that the conservatives do not support reparations either. And you keep saying that, well, the liberals don't, the liberals don't, the liberals don't. But you also admitted that the conservatives do not support reparations either.
yeah.
And
Because
they're just as
the
openly
reason why I
opposed
said
to it.
that is because the conservatives never offered it.
Well, the thing is that they're also the ones who are against it. They're the ones who make the talking points and who advocate against it. You have the Charlie Kirks of the world who go around speaking against reparations. What's your stance on
Yes.
Charlie Kirk, speaking of which?
But that's what I mean. It's like if you have someone that is racist, right? You would
Hmm.
want them to expose that so you know who your enemy is. The liberals they hide behind their racism so they can be friends with people, blacks and all
But
these other people, but they're really not. They're waiting to a chance to oppress them again.
okay, but let me ask you a question. What do you think of Charlie Kirk?
I to be honest with you, I really didn't pay much attention to them until the very end, and I started watching videos on them. Like I really didn't, because
Okay,
I'm so new. I
what do you
really
think
didn't
of
watch.
him now, though?
What do I think of him? I just think it was awful things that happened to him. I don't have no opinion on anything else about that.
You don't have an opinion on anything he said,
I don't know much about what he said besides some of the
but you
debates.
said you've been looking him up. You said so you don't know who Charlie Kirk is.
Yeah, I know who he is. I see some of his debates.
What do you think of his debates?
Well, most are about elections and AB and a lot of the stuff I seen was pretty good.
I'll see this. What do you think about George Floyd?
What do I think about him?
Yeah, what? How did George Floyd die, or how was he unalived rather?
Oh, he was that was brutal. I seen that on TV. Yeah, that was. Listen, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I seen racism up close, and you could see it in someone's eyes when that cop he could have let up. He was that was just racism and
So it was
personal.
the cop who did it.
Oh yeah,
Okay, all right then.
yeah, but it was the cop. Oh yeah, he had drugs in the system, but if that cop wasn't on top of him like that, he wouldn't have alive like that. Trust me, it was more than them. They already had personal altercations, interactions with each other. That was personal and it was racism. Trust me. When you see someone like that, that's personal and racism.
Okay, no, okay, okay. Because you know for a fact that most of the conservatives believe that that wasn't what happened and that the cop is innocent.
Well, not what I seen. I seen racism
Well, I'm speaking of what you're seeing, and I'm trying to circle that back, and we're gonna land here, and then we're gonna move on. I'm trying to land that back because I see that you have a thing where you keep trying to put racism off on liberals, and I feel like you feel like this is a conservative space, and this is not. Okay,
oh
this
no,
is
I know it's
so.
not.
But I'm saying is that you are saying liberals a lot in the context of racism, and you're omitting the conservatives.
Oh no, I know the difference between conservative racism and liberal racism is you'll know conservative racism. You won't even know you're hidden behind liberal racism. They're just there hiding behind you. But conservatives, listen, I voted
Okay.
for Donald
Oh,
Trump. I go on some of these pages and they start saying the N word and they start making jokes, and I just drop. I can't deal with that shit. Listen, I'm very diverse in my life. I dated black woman, Latino woman. I have friends that are Colombian. Oh, I'm very diverse. I can look in my phone right now. And all my relations are diverse. My whole
okay.
life. My best friend is Spanish. These
Okay.
people are the enemy trying to oppress you. I know it. I grew up around it.
All right. All right. Okay. Well, we're gonna move on. Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
and let me talk about immigrant and other thing. Like, and talking about they don't like white people like me. 90% of the music I listen to is black music,
Oh
hip hop,
Lord.
all this other
Okay.
stuff. Immigrants, illegal immigrants,
We
they
got
don't
you.
even
Okay.
listen to it. They
Okay.
We get
don't
All
buy
right.
none of
we
their
get
clothes,
we
so
I
got
that's
get
not
you.
going to
All
help
right.
your community.
Okay.
we got you. Don't overstep. We get it. Let's move on.
No overstepping, talking truth.
All right. We're gonna get to I do I didn't know, or I do know, didn't know.
I
However
don't
you
know.
pronounce that. First off, and I want y'all to understand the jury's still out on that dude. Don't think because he's been listening enough to say the right things. But I'm all like, nah, because when you peep that this wasn't a conservative space, then you kind of shifted a little bit. And I'm all
Afro
like,
before
because you don't know about Charlie Kirk. I don't know about that dude. Oh, but yeah, I looked up his videos. I don't really know about it, but it was terrible what happened. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
so
Why do you think
Afro.
that they don't agree with reparations? Well, I just feel like a lot of people, they just don't know. They don't really think about it. No, they do think about it. Like
Definitely.
y'all got to peep everything. Y'all got to peep everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When you folks be
Afro.
giving the ally pass too easy.
They do. Afro. So one of Castro's supporters came back in. She said, BX, why didn't y'all let him up? Now he's blasting y'all on another line. So I
Oh boy.
commented, wait. I commented, good. Go over there with him. And I
For
blocked
real.
her. She had 0 followers anyway. Go over there. Like, good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, I know he going up. I know he triggered. I know he
Baby.
triggered. But
Y'all
we
get some get
cool. We
more
cool. We in a
exposure.
good mood. In a good mood. Okay, let's get
You do
to
look
I.
tired though, Afro.
Oh, I just left the gym. I gotta find something to eat. I gotta eat after this. You know what I'm saying? I chest day today. I start the week. Well, not starting the week off. I didn't go to the gym. I'm talking about the gym. Look at you. I'm sitting up here. I'm my fault. My fault. But yeah. Okay. Um, but yeah. But there's still some stuff. some cleaning up and stuff like that I got to do. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. But yeah, it
Okay,
was
cool.
just day to day. I'm trying to, get in there. I gotta eat some protein. Probably gonna have like a salad or something, like a chicken salad or something like that.
Okay.
Whatever. What would y'all recommend, y'all? Put it in the comments. Get the comments going. All right, let's get to I didn't know or don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know how to pronounce.
I don't know.
I don't know. Where are you from?
Michigan, 59, voted for Harris, and I don't
Are
understand
you FBA? Are
what
you
this.
FBA? Let me ask you. Are you
Nobody's FBA.
I'm FBA. We're all
No, you're
FBA.
not.
FBA is a lineage. See, boy,
Okay,
I can
FBA.
already tell
Let
off
let me
rip.
let me let me explain this.
Where are
Okay,
you from? Just tell me where you from.
there is
Just
no
tell me where you
FBA.
from. Do y'all see how he gets? Tell us where you from, man. Just tell us where you from.
Can I talk?
No, you can tell us where you from though.
I said Michigan.
No, not Michigan, dude.
Ethnic group.
Where's your
Ethnic
lineage
group.
from?
Who the hell knows?
Oh Lord.
You don't know where
Go
your
to
lineage is from. You don't know where your grandparents are from.
My grandparents was from here, and my
Not with
great
that accent.
grandparents was
Not with
from
that
here.
accent. That's why I asked you off rip because I heard the accent. Not with that accent.
Man,
Where
ain't
are you
nobody got
from,
no
dude?
damn
Why
accent.
y'all lying? Why do we gotta interrogate y'all?
Dude, you ain't interrogating shit because you ain't no FBA. Because if you were FBA, your bloodline would be stomped out. You mean to tell me you thought black people was here right along with the Indians and then
No, we're not
slaves?
flipping that. You're not
Hold on.
asking me no
And then
question, dude.
white
No,
people
nah,
came
nah.
with
Okay.
black slaves.
Nah. We
He's
can just
smug,
wrap
dude.
things up. We don't even need to do that. We can just
We're not
wrap
going into
things
nothing
up.
like that. That's the thing.
Do y'all know how? First off, we can tell. Let me let y'all know something. We can tell because y'all get so bothered by us
Mm-hmm.
asking where you're from. That's not an offensive question. That's how we can tell y'all immigrants 9 times out of 10 because y'all get offended by us asking that. Yo, we be all like, "Where are you from?" Damn. Okay. Well, why y'all got to take it there? Okay. Well, fine. Y'all getting offended by us asking where you're from. We can tell you're not from here, so
Yeah.
you know.
Mm.
Come on.
You
Yeah.
making my job harder, Afro. First, you want to talk about, yeah, 100K likes, we'll let you back up. Now, you're telling them one of our secrets. You know, how we know who's who and who's not.
They gonna get offended. Yeah, we can tell through their accent. Yeah, but we can tell through their accent.
I'm just joking. I got a knack for that. And contrary to what y'all think, we don't all look alike, okay?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, some Caribbeans may look like us, but I could even tell they're Caribbean, right? Africans have a distinct look too. So
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you how I know, but in New York, I can figure it out. Okay, that's where I be coming from when I be looking at your profile pictures and stuff. 9 times out of 10, I don't even look at their bio to see if they have a flag or not. I just know. And then it just comes out. And that's all up here telling one of our secrets. One. God damn. Nah, I'm joking. We're really good at that. We know our people. And when we say we know our people, we just know. That's it.
We can tell. Yeah, we can tell. There's so many methods that we can tell.
Mm-hmm. It
There's so
is.
much time. There's so much. Well, I can tell you're an immigrant. I just be letting you talk, and then I ask you later, just to see how
Hey,
honest
Terry.
you are. But I can tell almost off rip by the first few sentences, like, oh, okay, he's not from. Yeah, I can tell.
All right, so here we go. Zizi, you have a mod ring. Please start bouncing the people that's asking why do you hate black women and why don't you like black women? So let's get out of here because y'all are foreigners. I can tell by the look on your profile picture, Miss No Hate
Amazing.
Before Noon. Um,
Let me see
y'all
it.
are Afro descendant. We are the black people in this land, and she ain't black. So go ask somebody else that stupid ass question.
Mm-hmm.
I voted for Kamala Harris. I want to put that out there. I did vote for her.
Okay,
Yes,
but
yes, I
what
know
you
I want to shock y'all.
talking about? Damn, we ain't
I
here.
did,
We ain't
I did
here.
vote for Kamala
We
Harris.
ain't here.
Yeah, that was a mistake. But
Uh,
Yeah, I did vote for Kamala Harris, and it was knowing that she
Oh,
said
now
out of
Auntie
her
Trisha
own
too
mouth.
old. Take that auntie out of your damn name and go somewhere else. Don't come back in here. Ain't only one real auntie on up in this room, and you ain't it, Trisha. Bye.
Uh-oh. Don't do that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't get us started.
Yeah, so I voted for her knowing that she said out of her mouth she's not going to do anything for black people. And I did that because of what was going on with the people with the small hat situation, and I sat up there and I watched Biden lie out of his mouth and say he saw a picture of uh deleted babies. And so I'm like, I could never vote for. So what I basically fell for is the lesser of two evils. I'm one of those people who fell for that, and that's going to be the last time that I fall for that. But that is what they say for most every election. You voting for the lesser of two evils. They already preparing. And somebody was literally just arguing with me today about Gavin Newsom. It's always about the lesser of two evils, and they setting him up to run for the next run. And they trying to say we need to be worried about what this. Don't worry about that. He's the lesser of two evils. Man, go ahead on without. They'll never
Yeah.
get my vote again. I made
Well,
a
Thank
mistake.
God.
and I want to say this, even though we joke and everything like that, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to grow. There's always room to learn. So as long as you're on the right page now, that's what matters. And she didn't win, so we can't be that mad at
Yeah.
you. We forgive you because she didn't win. If she won, it would have been like, no, but yeah, she didn't win, so it's okay. It's okay. We'll give you a pass.
Thank you. I appreciate
All
it.
right. But there's a couple more people I want to say bring up because and then after that we'll leave. But I want to get to Adney. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
It's more than fine. It's a now. How are you?
Anel, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I have two questions
Okay.
because the young lady was saying that she knew who were Africans and who were not Africans. I'm not an African, but I do have a question. Do you
What's
know
your
a
ethnic group?
doctor?
What is your ethnic group?
I'm sorry, what?
What's your ethnic group?
I was born here in the United States.
That's not
What's
an
your lineage?
But
issue, ma'am.
where's your
What's
family
your lineage?
from?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Choctaw, Chickasaw, and African American.
Okay, what was your question?
Do you know a Dr. Cambone?
A doctor who? I'm sorry.
Dr. Cambone.
I've heard of that name before. I'm not too familiar though.
It just seems like your face. It seems like you were on an interview with him.
Dr. Cambong. I was on the interview.
It seems like it. You don't know him. I think he's from the United States, and then he repatriated back to Africa, to Ghana, or to a West Coast nation.
Okay.
You don't know him.
Not really. No.
Okay. And then the other
Um.
question I had was what we were actually putting in the prompt was, why are you so against black women?
I already know it.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
why I brought you up because you asked that question. Now,
Because
yeah,
ain't
go
nobody
ahead.
against a black woman,
Now,
right? We're against cosplayers, okay? So the prompt says Kamala running again in 2028. Direct your attentions to that, okay? Thank you.
no, go now. That's why I brought you up because I saw your
Uh-huh.
comment. Okay.
Oh,
Sent over by Castle. So let me tell you
Yeah.
something, ma'am. Don't worry about black women. We black women, okay? Kamala is not a black woman. Just because you go to an ACU doesn't make you, HBCU, does not make you a black woman. She's of Asian descent. Her family was just born in Jamaica because they descend from enslavers. Thank
Hold
you.
on, hold on,
why are you so angry?
hold on.
Because I
The
don't
thing
like
is that
you.
let me ask you a
That's
question.
why,
Let me say
ma'am.
this. Let me say
I don't
this,
like you. You're
ma'am,
deceptive.
ma'am. Have you
Yeah, we don't
seen
like
the
listening to
panel? The
that.
panel for the most part has been full of black women.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Full of black women.
Uh-huh.
The panel right now, besides me, is full of black women right now. There's black women. I'm the only male here.
Uh-huh.
So, and they're agreeing that Harris has been destructive to the community. Are
I
you going to
think
say
he's
that? Are
been
you, hold on. I'm
no,
asking, let me ask a question. You ask a question. I ask a question.
no.
Are you going to say that about all of the other black women who've come up here and said the same exact things I'm saying? Are they
Am I
against black women too, or no?
so I don't think Miss Harris is a destructive part to
No, but
uh,
can
our
you answer the
community.
question, please? Because if you're accusing me, like you did in the chat, about being against black women, are you going to make the same accusations of all of the black women who've come up here and said the exact same things, raised
Well,
the
I'm
exact
gonna.
same issues? No, 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 no. Because if being against her or if calling her out and criticizing her makes me against black women, does it also make them against black women?
If they are against her policies and what she stands for, then yes.
Well, why does it make me against black? So
Well, you
you're
didn't
wait.
answer the question. Whoever this person is, BXFB, I don't know the rest of it.
No, no, don't deflect,
You
because
didn't answer.
the thing is this is how y'all do as the
Who's y'all?
No, Democratic shills. Let me finish, please.
I'm not a Democrat.
Man, okay.
Speak for
Stop, please stop.
yourself.
Okay, please. You're what? You're an independent? You're one of those?
No, I'm not an independent.
Okay, well, let me finish.
Okay.
This is how the people who defend her do. They will sit up here and they will accuse me, because this is gaslighting. They will accuse me of just being against black women, even though she's not one. They will accuse me of being against black women when I'm giving receipts and calling her to task. Okay? That's what I'm doing. I'm giving receipts and calling her to task. I'm criticizing her for what she's done, what she's for, what she supports, and her history, the same way other black women have done. And because you feel like you have an opportunity to get on me because I'm a male and she's a female, and you're gonna play the whole black woman gender division card, that you can't do that, because this panel has been full of black women who've been saying the same exact things.
That you are saying.
Yes, the same exact
Yes.
things. They agree 100%.
Exactly.
So what makes me in particular against black women? Why would you ask that?
I'm asking you that because you seem to have an issue with Miss Harris, who is black.
She's not black.
No, she's
We've been
not.
over
And
that.
and,
Not
and let me
talking
ask
to
you,
you.
why
I'm a
first off,
co-host. Girl, you ain't got to talk to me.
ma'am, you sound like you older than you. I'm being very respectful. I'm being respectful, but you
Yeah, I'm
sound
about to
like
get
you old enough
disrespectful.
to know
So,
this. You old enough to know, okay? It sounds like I have an issue with her. All of the policies and all of the actual points I made up, I'm these are just made up, and I just have an issue with her. Now, all of the black women who also have the same issue, they have that issue. They're right for having that issue. I'm wrong. I got a other agenda. Is that the sense you're making? Is that your logic? That if I don't like her policy, it's because she's a woman, but if a woman doesn't like her policy, it's because it's bad. Is that your logic?
No, they seem to be in agreement with you. So
So
there's
does
no
that make
discourse.
them, and I will repeat my question again, does that
Okay.
make them against black women?
Yes, because they are in agreement with
Let me
you.
ask you a question then. Okay. So let's say let's say, for the sake of argument, watch this, chat, watch this. If Kamala Harris and Candace Owens were running for president, who would you support?
I would actually support Miss Harris.
You would support
She's
Harris. Okay.
more
What? Hold on, hold on,
alignment.
hold on,
Mhm.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. But technically, Candace Owens is more black than Kamala is.
yeah.
That does not have
Technically,
anything to
hold
do
on
with
now.
here
For
nor
all of the
there.
people, I want y'all to understand that. You see
Back
how
to
she
black
just slipped
women.
up? For all of the people who be all like, you don't support a black woman. Technically, Candace Owens is more black than Kamala, but she says she would pick Kamala. Why?
Yes,
Is that not
because
supporting
her
a black woman?
ideas,
Come on now.
are in alignment
Okay,
with
thank
mine.
you. Thank you. It's the fact that she's a part of a policy and a party that you support. And you're using her being a black woman, which she's not, as a veil to say you're
Exactly.
supporting a black woman, but really
But your
you're
whole
supporting a
talking
political
point,
party. Now, hold on. You're supporting a political party, because if it was her against a woman who's more black, you would still support her because you like her party. So
mm,
admit that you're advocating for the party, not because of her
sir,
blackness. Don't do that.
sir, you just said in your whole talking point for the last 5, 10 minutes that I've been listening to you is the fact that she is not black.
I said, for the sake of the argument, when I compared her to Candace, I
Sir,
said, let's say she
when you
was.
were talking earlier,
Man, don't
before
do
I
that. Don't
even
do that because
came
you got
up
caught up.
to
You
the
got caught
panel,
up.
you
You got caught
said
up.
all
Stop
your
doing that.
talking points were for the fact that she was
No,
not
no, it
black.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. I barely bought that up. And I'm only, and I haven't bought that up
I asked
for
you
the
the
talking
questions
points.
I
I
wanted to
bought
ask
up.
you.
Stop it, ma'am. Stop. You old enough to know
I
better. Stop doing
asked
that.
you the questions that
No,
I
you don't
wanted to
ask me.
ask.
You don't ask me a question, ma'am. Don't do that. Okay? Because
Right.
I know you're getting cranky. It's almost your bedtime. Stop doing that. All right? Because yeah,
So you know what,
that
Afro?
you see what that analogy. That analogy means that they all this. She's a black woman, and we want to support her because she's a black woman. That's bullshit.
It is. It is. It's a lie.
And you know what? The chat, shout out to the chat who was saying Cherie Peoples is really a black woman and Kamala is anti-black woman. Right? Because Cherie Peoples is the mom whose daughter has sickle cell and she penalized the family.
Right.
That was a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Notice.
And that's why I get
Mhm.
upset with that we're against black women trope because why would we be against black women when Kamala isn't black?
hmm
At
Notice
all.
and notice the talking point, and this is how I know she's a Democrat shield, even though she says she wasn't. Why are you defending this hard if you're not? Okay. The thing is that when we get on the conservatives, when we get on conservatives like Candace and all of them, they don't say, well, you're attacking a black woman. Notice that they don't make that argument when we get on Candace, which we've done before on multiple occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we address Candace and when we call Candace Owens out, they don't ever come up here like, oh, she's a black woman. You need to get off of her. But then when we address Kamala, then it's, well, man, this sounds like y'all hate black women. Y'all can't do that because it's not y'all are trying to use black women as a veil to push a political agenda. And black
Also,
women, as you can
Afro,
see on the panel, ain't going for it. I
we
said the
need to
same thing.
ask
I
if
said,
they're
what about all the black
AKAs.
women who agree? Well, they black women too. Man, okay.
We need to ask if they're AKAs, so part of a
Oh,
sorority.
it's a good point. Yeah. Because they definitely them sorority sisters be riding for Kamala ass. That's how they validate her
They sure
blackness is
do.
through that sorority. That's a fact. I'm glad you said that.
We've been up here for a minute though. We're gonna have to wrap
Yeah, it's
things up.
time to
Yeah.
final words. Is there
Yeah.
anybody in the box? What we
There's
doing, Afro?
BX, there's like 11 people in the box.
Yeah,
Oh
it's from that
dang!
nigga
Let me
live.
see if
Yeah.
I got any favorites
Yeah,
in the
because he's
box.
sending
Let me
people
see.
over here.
So there's some private accounts because I only see 6. Porty's a regular. Alvito is a regular, but he's our contrarian. I don't see the private
Yeah,
account. So I
I
only
see,
see
yeah, I
6
see.
people in the box. So take your choice, but you do have some regular supporters who visited before.
Well, yeah,
One is a
okay.
fan and one
Because
is our contrarian.
Nah, we're not gonna have contrarians tonight. We've dealt with enough contrarians for the evening. I'll let Portiz come up, but we've been up here for like 3 hours, close to, you know,
4 hours. Really, really about to be 4 hours.
yeah. So we'll keep it like that. We'll keep it like that. Okay. Because Portiz, you got it, brother.
Yeah, I ain't about to keep y'all too long. Y'all know I gotta show my love. Shout out to everybody. Chicago, keep holding it down. No, I just got up here, man. Y'all been up here cooking, man. Them shields, they something else, man. Once again, I want to just make my point. They are dangerous. I need my FBA people to acknowledge the danger. You know what I'm saying? Stay weary, stay alert, stay on the pivot. And yeah, stay ready for the revolt, man. I'm gonna mute out so you can get up off of here, man.
Appreciate you. Man, you know how do you know how bitch made it is to send people to other people's lives to troll? Do you know that? Come on. I'm starting to see trolls pop up. I'm like, damn, what is going on here? He's sending people over here to troll the live.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll
Things
basic. I
that
know you.
ticked me off was reading the comments when they was like, he don't like his black mama. And I'm looking at Kamala like she ain't. We have to get out of this mindset that let's take Jamaica, right? While it has a high percentage of
Afro-descended Jamaicans over there. They're not the only population. They're just 90%. And I heard the numbers went down because they're migrating all over the place besides building Jamaica, right? So it went from like 92% to almost in the 80s. But that doesn't mean there isn't Asians, white tea. There's also Spanish people over there. And do you know that if you can prove you have Spanish bloodline, you can get citizenship in Spain, I heard. So
Yeah.
now we do know, based off of Kamala's genealogy, that the Asian, the Indian, is over there too. So we got to get out of this idea that when we say Jamaican, that they're automatically Afro descendant. They're not. They're not. And she's not. So it's not that we would take it away from an Afro descendant Jamaican, right? We'll say, okay, well, yeah, racially you're black, but ethnically you're not like us. But she ain't none of that. And going to an HBCU or even listening to hip hop or even born in the Bronx does not make you black American if you ain't black or black American. Y'all gotta stop because y'all are pissing me off with this. Okay? That's exploitation again of my ancestors and everything my elders created, my elders and my ancestors, and the things that we carry on. That's erasure.
Yep.
Stop erasing us. Thank you.
Yep. That's true. That's true. And then her dad isn't even why is she sitting up there lying about who her grandma is, and y'all sitting up there getting on me for being against black women, and she lying about her grandma. Okay, all right, oh okay, basic, you got it.
Yeah, I actually just came to tell you that he did go on his little live and he was like, "Yo, I need 20 black women to go over there to the live and 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 accuse him of hating black women." Like it's actually crazy. Like I
That's
was in there
insane.
listening to it, and he done got on his microphone, put his shades on, and he think he Tupac on. Hit him up right now. So
Do
yeah.
you see
Hey,
that is so bitch made? Do you see? And
like for
I'm
real.
noticing that I knew it too because I'm starting to see a flood of them in the chat room saying the same thing. I'm all like, why y'all copying and pasting the same? Where y'all from? I've never seen y'all before. Wow.
And
Is
they look
that
a
like
little
sore loser?
immigrant-ish.
Man, come on.
Yeah, low key, a couple of them did. A couple of them look Latinos.
Exactly. I told you we could tell them. But you know what, Basic, Afro Lee and ZZ Porties and Mary? I was going to come at the end and ask Afro if he wanted to set up a more formal debate with the guy, but now he blew it. He blew it. He blew it
Mhm.
for me. I wouldn't even recommend it to Afro.
Me
I
Yeah.
either.
wouldn't. And it went left because,
It wouldn't be worth it.
Afro Lee is one creator who doesn't let you disrespect black women, let alone his co host or me.
Yeah,
So,
Come on.
y'all got to
yeah, he be
stop.
on that. He be on that.
That's
Yeah.
the only
Do
reason
you
why I
see? Do
speak on
you
your
now? I
platform.
didn't. Me and him were having back and forth. It wasn't until he said something to ZZ to then I got buck with him. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
until he started going off on her a little bit
Yeah,
where
you
he
was
kind
like,
of just
hold on.
like low key was kind of like dissing or throwing shade. Then I'm all like, hey, then it turned into something else. But besides that, me and him, I don't care what you say about me, but no, we not no. After he said something to ZZ, that's when I'm all like, hey, no, now this is something different now.
Well, since you
Mm-hmm.
bringing that up, I've always wanted to say that. I want to commend you on that, Afro, because there are a lot of people that have that. I guess they're coming from the red pill side and they're going over to, there's changing what they're
Mhm.
speaking on, and you could clearly tell by some of the stuff that they say that they're misogynistic. And I noticed that about you right off the bat, that you were not like that. And it makes it, like that's one of the reasons why I was comfortable to come on your platform. Because, I know, like, what somebody has to say is respected, regardless if they are a man or a woman. And I noticed that. I'm not a feminist. But
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
obvious.
He's like that with everybody though. He's the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
get man. He he let a lot of shit slide.
I
Look,
appreciate that. Thank
man,
you.
look, Afro, the dude went on this weird rant, and he basically painted you as a dude that cut grass, and you complain about $60 dates. It was a weird rant, like
What?
yeah, bro, like it was weird. But of course, he got the type of crowd that just eat that type of stuff up because they like to see somebody, crashing out. Because that's all he was doing. They just love to see a dude crashing out like he cool or something.
So
Do you know if he had Latino women on his panel when he was doing
man,
that?
he had he had a man cosplaying as a woman on the panel. That's all I gotta
Oh
say.
Lord, this nigga.
Really?
He one of them.
Really? Okay.
Oh, he one of them.
And
Please.
notice the whole thing about you talking about a $60 date or whatever the case is. What did that have to do with what we were debating about?
Exactly.
Now you attacking my first off,
I think
and
Umar
that's
messed
not
that
true.
up.
But now you attacking my character or attacking, I guess, me being a man or whatever the case is. We were debating about immigration. Do you see that? Do you see that? That ain't have nothing to do with what we was talking about. And this dude just going on his rant.
Dismas is back in the queue. But wait a minute, I have never heard Afro speak about his dating life. Never. And the one time that I interviewed him, like just me and him off a panel, I asked. And that was like, if he was
Mm-hmm.
taken, that was it. So that I could give a vibe check.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never heard him say, well, I took a lady on a date and it cost me $60. She didn't pay half. Like, I just don't hear that from Afro. I don't. So
I think
that
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 brother
pisses me
projected.
off.
Yeah,
That brother is projected. I think he might be a Latino bunny hopper. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Let's
probably.
give it that. Let's give it that.
Yep, but we can wrap things up there. We can wrap things up. I would, but I can say this is going on for a minute. This is going on for a minute. I got to get something to eat. Okay, I need my protein. So we'll close things out here. This is a pretty popping part two.
I
This
hope I
Good.
have
I'm
but
glad we
part
space
double
two,
back.
but
slots.
part
I
two
don't
was
want to
possible than
see
the
them
first
Two
part.
was a
people.
little more live than one.
Mm-mm. Uh-uh. Okay. Are we doing Mary Porty's basic then ZZ? Or are we just going
Yeah,
to
you
your
we got a
you and
few people.
ZZ?
We can get everybody's final thoughts real quick.
Okay. Go ahead, Mary. And you don't have to tell us you voted for Kamala. I know so many of our people voted for Kamala, even if I didn't agree with it. And you know what? Do you see me up here still or arguing about the point? Do you see that with me, Mary? You don't see
Mm-hmm.
that with Afro. You don't see that with Zizi. So
Yeah, we
it's not
don't.
gonna make us look at you differently.
Yeah,
I mean, you wanted to volunteer it, fine, but we still love you, Mary girl.
I have people in Chicago. I be meeting with people. They be like, "Man, I voted for Brandon Johnson. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have did that." I'm like, "Hey, it happened." And
Well,
he's
it
the
was
mayor.
because of the situation with the small head. Those other people that they were hurting, I've been supporting them since I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's really about that. It's like that was the only person who said that they would try to end that situation.
No, I got it.
So
Okay. All right.
yeah. But my only final thought I just want to say because I wanted to bring that up too is it's not just I don't want anybody to think like it's just um Hispanic people like when we were talking about immigration. When I was working recently, like in New York City, a lot of small hats own most of the buildings. And one of the things that I figured out is they were the main hirers, the contractors of East European immigrants. So whatever chance they get, they don't want to hire our people is what I'm basically trying to say. And they are the ones, especially during the Ukrainian WAR, they are the ones that were hiring all the staff was East European. I just want to throw that out there. That's my final thought.
That's true. That's true. They look out for themselves. All this
Yep.
people of color stuff. We got to stop. Good.
Because
Thank.
they are also small hats.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them and Russians that come over to New York are small hats.
Mm. Real talk. Thank you. Let's get to Portis.
Yo, yeah, I may not be the most articulate and fluent with my words, but I want y'all to know how serious I am. My feet is to the ground in Detroit about this FBA. We need to really keep these policies we want first and go after what we really need, y'all. And yeah, man, just keep the love flowing like we do have for each other, man. These little platforms and conversations you hold, and man, this keep me steady and keep me grounded in the fight, man. Keep doing what y'all doing. BX, you already know I love you. ZZ, and I'm gonna mute out on that.
Appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Basic, you got it.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is FBA continue to do what we doing. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're being wrong for putting your people first. Self preservation is the most important thing in life, and we have to preserve ourselves. Nobody else is going to do it. Um, and also, don't let these people come in and try this whole gender divide. I've been noticing that lately. A lot of people try to come in and bring this whole gender division thing. Like, we have to point those people out and we have to get rid of them. We're not doing that over here. We respect each other over here. We love each other over here, and that's the new way. We getting back to the old way that worked before all these people came in with their negative influences, and we have to take accountability because we allowed people to influence us. So it's time to get back to being leaders and doing the things our own way. And I feel like we don't need to be seeking unity with nobody, to be honest with you, especially not right now. We don't need to be seeking no unity with these people because they ain't got nothing to offer. All they got is, deflections and arguments. All they want to do is argue all day. They ain't about no work. So that's all.
Hmm. Yes, indeed, that's true. They don't add anything productive. It's true. All right. Make sure y'all follow For the Culture so y'all can listen to the playback of this. If y'all came in late, if y'all had to leave early, or whatever the case may be, if y'all go to For the Culture, y'all can listen to the playback because it will be coming soon. And that, and then all of the other good content that we got up there. All right. ZZ, any closing thoughts, final words?
Oh, this was a long one. Very interesting ride. This was, but yeah, I'm definitely glad we doubled back for sure. Kamala Democrats, we are not falling for the scheme again, baby. We already see where it went. We see. I'm sure a lot of people, just like the sister who was up here, speaking about her voting for. We see. If you didn't see the play before, you definitely see it now. So even if she were to run again, baby, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna happen. I know she still got some of these shields, some of these, as you can see, unfortunately, some of these black women wandering around trying to push this whole support black women narrative. And mind you, she said, I support her because of her policies. I need for you to name some policies where she was looking out for black women because I didn't see any. That's hilarious. You looking out for her, she ain't looking out for you. She ain't doing a damn thing for you, but you so pressed to support this quote unquote black woman. All right. So yeah, anyways, moving forward, baby, we ain't supporting everybody black. You got Keke Palmer promoting bullshit with the Southern Fried Rice. You got Kamala Harris, you got Obama, you got Tethers, you got etc. etc. You got too many off-code Negroes, homegrown or foreign. So hell to the no. I'm not supporting everybody black, and I'm damn sure not feeding into the gender divide and just supporting black women. You got me dropped that. I already talked about it the other day. If I'm gonna support any candidate that's a black woman, baby, she got to be pro-black family. Okay, and she got to be FBA all day. And she got to be with a black man, a foundational black American. So those are requirements. I got requirements. We got standards over here. I'm not just supporting your ass because you say you black. We didn't fail for that trick bag. We ain't falling for it again. I digress. This was a great panel. Shout out to the people in the chat. Thank you for the gifts. Subscribe to For the Coach.
Yeah.
Afroly, you got final thoughts, or can I close out? Because I got Miss Nisi on speed dial, and I might really have to, call her because I see people in the chat trying to tell you. And thank you for coming. But when this happens, right? When somebody has Afro Lee on their background and the person just left this live, I don't think you should come over here telling us. Because the last time I told Afro don't go to that Liberian live, he went. Don't go over there. Yeah, the Liberian who was like, you want a war with me? I'm going to tell everybody, the Nigerians, not to take care of the black Americans. That lady. The one who said African American is me and you're black American. That lady. The payback lady that went viral and they had to find out, and she was living in Jersey and working in healthcare. She crashed out over here on your live first. And then she ran to her live had a live and FBA was all in it, and then I told you, and then you went over there. So we don't want you going. I
BX,
don't
I
want
thought
you
you
doing
sent
that
me
no
over there.
more.
That's what I'm thinking.
No,
You sent the live. I didn't even know she was live. You sent the live to me,
I
and then
know, but I'll never do
y'all
it
okay.
again
So she sends the
because I don't want you.
B.
I didn't expect him to show up, ZZ, and then get on the panel, and I didn't like the way she treated him. So now I'm mad,
She
and
you
I don't want to be mad no more because she wouldn't have the discussion. She crashed out. You wouldn't let me talk, and you're like, and just started treating them bad. So I don't want you. You know how many lies they had about me? Me and there's 7 people, and people come to me and be like, "BX, they got you on the prompt." And you know what I do? I say, "Good." Tell them I say hi. Them and them 7 people, and I stay where I'm at. Don't go over there giving him views, clicks, likes. He's got enough content. Offer your name. He
Mhm.
doesn't need anymore. But
Yeah,
they are telling us that he's having a wild and crazy life and
I'm
telling
sure. I'm
some
sure.
fallacies.
Yeah, I
But
know.
we know the real Afro elite. So I'm just giving you some advice, okay?
Yeah,
Don't go over there. If he had wanted a real formal debate, I was going to advocate for that. But he's doing too much, and you don't really need to go over there
yeah.
and give him any more content.
That's
Thank you.
true. I got a chicken salad I gotta eat.
Thank you.
I got protein I need.
A chicken salad. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes. So I got to ask
I got
you.
bigger things to worry about.
Yes,
You know.
yes. I know you're gonna go peek over there. I hope Tyreek go live. If you want to go to anybody's live, wait till Tyreek go live and go in there. But don't
Mhm.
go to
You
this
know,
man.
BX is the auntie. Be like, I already know what you gonna do. I already know. You gonna check
Because
it
he
out
gonna get his
anyway.
chicken
But
salad and peek in that room. Please don't go over there,
okay,
Afro.
okay.
He got
I
enough
won't.
content, okay?
Cause
People gonna
I ain't
tell
gonna
you.
do it because I know BX is gonna be on me about that. So I ain't even gonna go in there. I ain't even gonna say nothing about it.
Thank you, thank you. We already see he used deceptive measures, and I was fine and calm until I started reading all of "You Hate Black Women" and stuff, and those are the probably AKAs, probably this one and that one, probably Paige Shields and stuff like that. Kamala is not a ethnically black woman. She is of Asian descent. She has always claimed that until somebody told Biden he needed a black woman to run for office. But see how racist Biden was? He didn't even get a black woman. He got a black adjacent woman because she went to an HBCU and my people ate it up and the Tethers really pushed it too and the sorority. So here's the issue. Foundational Black Americans want real representation. They don't want half Kenyans in the office. They don't want cosplaying Black adjacent in the office. They want full foundational Black Americans, and I think by now we deserve that right. Okay? Full
Agreed.
foundational Black Americans deserve that right. By now. Also, Afrobeat, I gotta ask you, when are you coming back?
Uh, I want to come back tomorrow. It might be a late one tomorrow though. It might be a late one if I do come back tomorrow. It'll probably be on a late night after my
I'll
live
make sure I'm
initially.
rested. I'll make
Okay.
sure I'm rested. I want to say thank you for the likes and the gifts. This was a great live. It was beautiful until those women started rushing the chat, but we
Mhm.
know that's his faithful following. I get it. I do get it, Afro. I get it. Because there are FBA men that I say stay off of these panels, even Halo for the most part. I say stay off of certain panels. And then, not Instagram, TikTok tells you when people are in other rooms and I fall in there running behind them and then I'm in a world of mess. So I get why some people may tell their followers go bother people, but this was supposed to be a formal like setting. This ain't a back and forth. We around each other all the time on this app, so we do go back and
Mhm.
forth. This was our first meeting. He wanted it to be taken serious. I wanted you to kind of take the debate, but now because of this, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. He messed that up for himself. He messed that up for himself.
Thank you,
But
Iceman.
all right, all righty then.
Yeah.
Well, you all have a good rest of y'all night. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I think y'all do because we got over 160,000 likes. So I think y'all did enjoy this live. So you guys make sure you guys follow. So you guys make sure you get the notifications for the next time we do go live. And you can follow on For the Culture to listen to the playback of this if you didn't see it from start to finish, or if you came late or had to leave early, or whatever the case may be. For the Culture. And on For the Culture, you will find me on Z's YouTube channel, which you guys can follow that because we also break stuff down and have good content on those too. With that being said, you all have a good night.
Peace. Be one.
Be one.